on and I was muted. But I was telling you, it's a pleasant good night to everyone who's logged on tonight. You are watching the Marcia Week Show, and we are coming to you live from Barbados. I am Marcia Weeks, and we are excited. We have a packed program lined up for you this evening. Folks, we mean business. We mean business. And I can see that I am sticking. I don't know if everybody that's happening for everybody as well. But I can tell that there's something that is happening with the internet tonight. But even if I have to turn off my camera, it's still going. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Going to press on. We're not going to let anything stop us. Nothing is going to cramp our style tonight. Good evening, Diana Seeley. Good evening. You were first on, Diana, from 5:14 p.m. Diana was on. Good evening, Diana. Born again at 48. Good evening. Good evening, loyal daughter 66. You loyal sons and daughters. We hereby make it known. Yes, Heathcliff. Good evening, Heathcliff. How are you, Queen McQueenist? Good evening, Galbiz. Good night. Good night. Those of you who know how to pray, pray for this broadcast tonight. We're not going to have any interferences. Llewellyn Eiffel. Llewellyn Eiffel. I said it right, didn't I? Sir Alfred, loyal son. Loyal son. Sir Alfred is loyal from Brooklyn, New York City, and he's logged on. As far as I know, every night he's been on. Michelle Grant, loyal sons and daughters. Oh, here's a daughter, Michelle Grant, loyal to Barbados. If you're loyal to Barbados, put up a fist for me, please. Put up a fist, because that fist says that we keep fighting. We keep fighting. We keep fighting. Galvez, good night, loyal daughter. Loyal to Barbados. Loyal not to a party. Not loyal to a party. Not loyal to any colors. We're not pushing any colors on this show. Yes, I'm sticking. Oh, it's still sticking. Yes, ADG. Yes, good night, loyal opposition. Yes, that's who we are. Come on, happy Friday to all opposition members and leaders. Good night. I hope I'm coming through clearer this time. I hope all is well. All is well. Sugarcane. Oh, sugarcane king, sweet as sugarcane. Good night, Marcia and opposition. Looking forward to another fantastic show. Oh, you like my lipstick. Thank you. Thank you. Oh my Lord. And who is this? Erwin Nurse. Hi, Erwin. Good evening. Good evening. I wonder if that's an Erwin that I know. Monica Inns. Oh, good evening. Good evening, Monica. Yes, I am sticking. Am I still sticking? Monica. Pauline Maynard. Yes. Yes. Everton Hunt. Wonderful. Oh my goodness. Tim Ward is watching from Guelph, Ontario. Oh, good night, Kim. Tim. Rachel Thornhill. Hey, good to see you again. Good to see you again. Michelle, I said Michelle. Diana Andre. Welcome there. There Campbell. Early. Tyrone Nurse. Ah, welcome. Yes, yes, loyal daughter. This is it tonight because we don't let up. Yes, we got a victory in that they've removed all deadlines and they are saying that they are going to do a comprehensive review of the bill, right? But there are many other questions that we have that need to be answered. We want to know what will happen to at the Canadian border. What happens at the Canadian border when we go with the laminated IDs? Have they spoken to Canada as well? They said they spoke to the central bank. You ever wonder to yourself, why did they have to speak to the central bank if it was just an ID? You ever thought about that? Why would they need to speak to the central bank? Those that say, oh, it's just, I saw people come on here defending it and saying, oh, it's just an ID, and and you all are conspiracy theorists. But isn't it interesting that they are now saying that they went and spoke to the so they made arrangements with the central bank. What was going to happen? We told you all about it. It's connecting to the financial system. We were telling you on this show. We were telling you, right? Ricky Pinda, all the way from Toronto. Yes, yes, Tyrone. We're going to press in about the Canadian about what happens at the Canada border. We want to know what is going to happen there. Yeah, and we have lots more questions that we posed in that document, right? We have lots more questions that were posed in that document. And so we will continue to ask those questions. We are not going to let up. Yeah, we're not going to let up. We're not going to let up. And before we could save a moment, thank God it's pushed back. Before we could do anything of the sort, out of her mouth comes another bill. Huh? Out of her mouth, the cyber crime bill comes out of her mouth. And tonight we are going to be looking at that in detail tonight. We're going to sit down tonight as students and we're going to go through that bill as we did the BEMA bill. Yeah, we are going to go through it with you tonight. That's what's going to happen. We also have some guests. We have a guest from Trinidad who is actually being censored in Trinidad, an activist being censored. So we get an idea of what is coming our way or what they're trying to bring our way. Okay? So these are just some of the things that's happening in throughout the region, that they have started to the censorship of people who are saying things that they don't want them to say. Right? We need the government concerning those ID to know that we will continue to seek legal counsel on the legality of the Trident ID. And there's a whole section of the opposition that's working on that, that's presently working on that. You're going to hear more about that. We are not sitting down. We're not sitting down and just taking what they're telling us, right? So that all of that, we want to know about the safety of the IDs. How safe are these IDs? Okay, we understand. Yes, we understand. We will have it. They said that we will have the laminated one. They said that it's a laminated IDs that would die a natural death. But I heard somebody who's going to come on here tonight. Apostle Margaret Breedy is going to be on for a quick moment tonight, and I heard her saying on her program that it's the Trident ID that's going to die a natural death. That's quite interesting. So we're going to chat with her tonight. We're going to chat with Lumumba Batson as well tonight, because these are people who were also pushing this that we do not accept the Trident ID. And so they were presenting a lot of education on that as well. I see Mr. Caswell is on, and I guess he's organizing himself. Umar Abdullah from Trinidad is on, and so on. So we're gonna jump right in. Let me just welcome a few others. Yes, Debajan, welcome. Yes, I'm tired of people calling everything conspiracy theory when in fact it is the truth. Yes, yes. Steve Moore watching from the UK. Hi, Steve Moore. Yes, yes, yes. Zaire, you're right. You're right. That is my belief as well, Zaire. Yes, and so that's why all of it, the whole idea of it needs to die. The whole idea of it needs to die. Yeah. And people telling me that they're ready to march. And we're going to talk about that march. That march is coming up next weekend. And this is about the cyber bill. That is not what they're trying. They are everything. And they are taking everything and the kitchen sink and throwing it at us. And guess what? We're still standing. We are still standing. We are still standing. Yes. Lots of bits of unfinished things. Diana is saying, too many bits of unfinished things. Yes, a lot, and so this is why we keep pressing. I'm gonna ask you to share and to share and to like. Liking it. Remember, every time there are 255 of you on right now, every time that you like it, what it does, it triggers the algorithm, all right? And people are able to find us. Share the link as well. Share the link as well. Good night, Annette Wood. Good night, Nigel Newton. Good night, Tracy Barrow. We are here in the house, and tonight we are sinking our teeth right into this cyber bill, and we are saying no to dictatorship, no to censorship. We're not going to stand by. We're going to march. We're going to march. We're going to march until the bottom of our shoes, the shoes drop off. We're not stopping. We're not. There is a method to it. I tell you, it gets under their skin. You know how I know it gets under their skin? The last march. Can I tell you who was at the march? If I say Mr. Franklin, you expect Mr. Franklin to be there, right? If I said Kimar, you expect Kimar to be there. If I said Dr. Ferdinand Nichols, you expect Dr. Ferdinand Nichols to be there. But once we get to the end of the march, you know who we saw looking on? David Commission. That's a fact. You can't bring no cyber thing on me. That's a fact. He was right there where Dave's bookstore is, looking over at us. Why was he there? Why, if we were not bothering them, why was he there? Numbers matter. That's why I say come out. It is getting under their skin. We will give them no rest in this country. We will march till the bottom of our shoes fall off until we have holes in the shoes. Do you understand? We will march till we have holes in the bottom of our shoes. It is affecting them. It is affecting them. The whole ethos, the culture is changing. The people are waking up. Bajans are waking up. Bajans are up already. You hear I tell you? They are frightened. And that is why they came out with this bill. They came out with this cyber bill. But we need to get on the streets. We need to get out on the streets. And when he's not there, they put drones in the sky to watch us. And you're telling me, somebody said, well, you all marching, all it is marching. Ah, there's a method to it. How did you think we got to a press conference the other day? There were marches on this bill. There were marches. We spent weeks and weeks and over years. I started on this in 2021. And I'm going to talk more about that as the night goes on. That we started that on this show. And I wasn't the only one. Lumumba and Bongo, they did their videos as well. But when it comes to this show, I can tell you the history of this thing. We had the same Umar Abdullah who's going to come on in a minute now. I had him on talking about the digital ID way before people were talking about this. We came on and talked about Trinidad and what was happening in Trinidad and all of that. So, you know, this is not a fly-by-night thing. There's a method to it. You educate, you agitate, you motivate. We educate, we agitate, we motivate, we liberate. There is a method to it. So make sure you come out to the marches. Yes, you remember that? We were marching till the walls come down. You remember, Loyal Daughter? Yes, yes, yes. Mr. Umar Abdullah, a man who knows about marching, is here. And okay, Mr. Franklin is here as well. Oh, Mr. Franklin, we have a guest. Good evening, sir.
Good.
Can you hear me?
His mouth is moving, but we're not hearing him.
Okay, all right, no problem. All right, no problem.
Are you hearing me?
Yes, we're hearing you. We're hearing you.
Greetings, everybody. Mr. Franklin, Marcia, the opposition in Barbados. How are you tonight? Marcia, the opposition in Barbados, you know.
We are well. No, it's not just me. You know, I tell you, Umar. It's Mr. Franklin. It is Dr. Ferdinand. It is all the people that are on, 302 persons who are on right now.
When I said Marcia Weeks, I meant you and your team, everyone that's behind you.
That we all work together. Correct. Well, you know, Mr. Franklin, I invited Umar Abdullah on, who's a good friend of mine.
I enjoyed it the last time. So I'm happy to see him again.
Yes.
I will learn from him.
It's great to see you as well, but we have to stop seeing each other under these circumstances.
Yes.
Well, once you have corrupt governments, we will have to have these circumstances.
Yes. You know, I was talking with Umar only last week, and he was telling me of some issues that they were having in Trinidad. And for those, let me do a proper introduction of Umar Abdullah, because some people might not know him. Umar Abdullah, as I said earlier, is from Trinidad and Tobago, and he's an activist. He's also the founder and president of, why is it missing my mind? It's gone through my mind.
The First Wave Movement. The First Wave Movement.
Thank you. First Wave Movement, and they have been on the cutting edge in Trinidad as it relates to all of what was happening with the pandemic, which we can't use the V word on here, but all that was happening, and we were receiving a lot of strength from Trinidad because of the work of Umar, Naeem, and his entire team. And in Trinidad, and Umar actually was arrested. Weren't you arrested, Umar, for staging a march in Trinidad?
Yeah, 4 times.
Umar was arrested 4 times, Mr. Franklin, for his activism in Trinidad, and people are telling us that we're marching too much, right? You know.
The people who support the government are telling us these things. That's where they want to break us up. They want to do every kind of thing because we are an irritant. We are bothering them. You know, we can't bring them down by ourselves, but we keep slipping away, slipping away, slipping away. Eventually, they will fall.
They will. They definitely will. They definitely will. Well, Mr. Umar Abdullah, you were talking to me about some movements that you're watching that's happening within the government of Trinidad and Tobago, in particular the Ministry of Education. And you said to me that you were going to send me some information. I realized that I didn't see it. And I wasn't seeing you on WhatsApp, and I wondered what was happening. So can you tell us what is to happen? Give us the whole story of what's happened to you in Trinidad.
All right. Again, I want to say pleasant greetings to each and every one of you. All your viewers out there, know you have a wide viewership from different across the islands and other parts of the globe as well. Um, just hold one second. Hold one second.
In the meantime, I'm just going to ask people to share. Please share.
Right. So sorry about that. So as I was saying, so we have been facing a number of challenges here in Trinidad and Tobago. Presently, as you all would know, some of you, um, we have been in front of the Ministry of Education today. Um, we we today the number is 225 days we've been there in front of the
Wow.
Ministry of Education protesting every single
Almost a
day.
year. You're
Yeah,
protesting at the Ministry of Education. Barbados, listen. He's been protesting for 226, 27 days.
225 days. Today is 225 days.
225 days, almost 1 year. And I was in Trinidad, I told you already. And I went and stayed with them for not a full day, but quite a while, protesting with them right there in front of the Ministry of Education. Wow, I tell you, that's amazing.
And the reason why we have been there and we have not left the steps of the Ministry of Education as yet is because we have not been given any straight answers to our questions. All right. We've written 3 letters to the minister. We have not gotten a response to none of those letters, not even an acknowledgement. We would have also spoke to her pastor. We have written him 2 letters, in fact, and spoke to him as well. And we have also gone to the ombudsman. Presently, what we are doing, we are seeking litigation through our courts, and we are challenging the policies that has been rolled out by the Ministry of Education here in Trinidad and Tobago, because we are questioning, who are those persons that they would have consulted with. They said that they had consultations, and we had questioned them on that. We got some answers, but listen to this. Um, I wonder if you all remember when in the European Parliament, a gentleman had hold up a paper where they had FOIA the government for information regarding the COVID injections and the lockdowns and what have you and so on. And almost everything on that document was redacted. I don't know how many of you saw that video. So we actually had to witness or experience that from the Ministry of Education, because one of the documents that had to do with the contributions that these, different groupings, that these different stakeholders would have made in those consultations or those discussions was redacted.
Mm.
We are talking about the education of children here. We're not talking about the Ministry of National Security. We are not talking about international security. We are talking about education for boys and girls.
So
What could be so important
Umar,
and so
can I
secretive that
ask you
you
to
have to
pause?
redact those things?
Umar, can you pause a bit and tell our viewers really quickly why exactly you were protesting, or you are not were, because you've been there 225 days. Exactly what is your grouse with the Minister of Education?
Low gross really is the introduction of the comprehensive sexuality education within our schools. And we would have found out that our government would have signed the Montevideo Consensus Agreement back in 2013. And that agreement was specific to introduce the comprehensive sexuality education in our schools. And when we did further research, we looked at the monitoring and evaluation of these different countries that would have signed on to this document, which was, I think it was over 43 countries, Caribbean countries. And we saw that Trinidad and Tobago was 100%, had a 100% policy framework in place, and 52% of it was already in our curriculum. So that was a shocker. So we started to dig deeper. And when we looked at the language, especially the language coming out of that child-friendly school initiative manual which was published by UNESCO, and the United Nations, funded by the United Nations and so on, we start to understand exactly where that 52% was, because in the language, it's in the language itself. So there are certain phrases and there are certain language that are being used, which we have grown up accustomed with, to understand it meaning a particular set of phrases or words or what have you. But now those same words and those same phrases have changed its meaning and definition. So when we hear the word inclusivity, we would think, well, okay, it's all religions, all races, etc., etc. When they say inclusivity, they're talking about outside of that. They're
Right.
talking about gays, bisexuals, trans, all these types of, people who identify themselves by different whatever, boys, girls, cats, dogs, etc., etc. This is what they're talking about. All
and
right.
and that is why you were there at the Ministry of Education, and you have been there for
Well,
265
well,
days.
in addition to that, we would have gotten wind that there were some books that was brought into the country and being sold at one of our major bookstores here in Trinidad and Tobago, and we had
Mhm.
gone and confronted these people and actually tried to get to the bottom of it. And lo and behold, we found out that Customs and Excise, right, who's responsible for safeguarding, products and items coming into our country that could be used for criminal purposes, all right, they allowed books to come into our country to be used as grooming material for young boys and girls. And
Wow.
that also raised a serious red flag with us. And we started to agitate. We wrote the minister letters to ask to get, specific answers to our questions. And she made two statements publicly. One was, we are not going to introduce those books on our book list this
Hmm.
year at this time. All
Yeah.
right, that was her words. And the other answer to the other question, whether or not she's going to introduce or allow to be introduced in the schools comprehensive sexuality education, she said not at this time. So when you
Hmm.
answer the question in that particular manner, I mean, we all went to school. We would understand that if it is not at this time, eventually it's going to be introduced. All
Yes.
right. So we're not going to have none of that. We don't want it introduced in our schools. All right. So we again started to agitate. We wrote a second letter. We wrote a third letter. None of those letters was ever answered by the minister. So we are there today. Today they had a youth how you call it, a competition in front of the Ministry of Education. Now it's Carnival, so they have a lot of these programs all over the country. So for the last couple of Fridays, they've had youths coming in front of the Ministry of Education performing their talent and so on, calypsos, whatever and so on. And the minister was there sitting down and looking at us, looking at our placards, as if it was no bother to her, right? Very, very disrespectful. I attempted to approach her on many occasions. She slighted me and she didn't want to have any conversation with me whatsoever and so on. So this is what we have happening now.
And it's
In recent times,
235 days. So talk to us now where you
25 days.
are right now.
So all right. So where we are right now, we're still there, and we have started to our litigation process, which is challenging the policy in the courts. All right. So we're
Okay.
hoping that I mean, we want to remove ourselves from in front of the Ministry of Education. But at the same point in time, we have to understand, for the benefit of the parents and those children who could understand, the Ministry of Education, in front of the Ministry of Education, that's ground zero. Ground
Yeah.
zero in the sense that everything that's going to come at our children, it's being generated at that ministry, right? It's being generated at that ministry. It's being promoted at that ministry. It's being pushed from that ministry. And I'm saying that to mean there are other issues that we are grappling with presently. Like, for instance, there has been a survey that is going to come within the next couple of days in February here, where they want to introduce to the children. They have sent out consent forms for parents to sign those consent forms.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And those consent forms obviously are asking parents to give permission for their young boys and girls to undergo a survey. Now, in the past, those national surveys was was done by different organizations. We have Casio. Casio is a feminist civil society organization committed to ensuring wholeness, justice, and inclusion for the Trinidad and Tobago LGBTQI, lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, and intersex communities by developing analysis, right, and advocacy, right? That was one organization that was responsible, right? Um, going further along, we had Friends for Life. Friends for Life has pioneered community social work strategies to build LGBTQI resilience and address working class needs. These are the organizations who have been formulating those national surveys that was being given to our children over the years.
So let me pause you. So the parents, at least in Trinidad, the test, Mr. Franklin, they had an opportunity, the parents, to sign a consent form in Barbados when they provided the sex tests for the children. The parents had no say. They just gave them. They just gave
Right.
it
But let me
to the
tell you this.
children.
Let me tell you this, Marcia. You see what happened? Our government learned from the mistakes that your government made, right? So they came and they introduced the parents to a nice, a couple of paragraphs on a page telling them how important this survey is for their children. Of course, nothing
Yes.
was mentioned about the LGBTQI community and so on. Nothing was mentioned anything about perversiveness and so on and so forth. So parents now thinking to themselves, this survey is harmless, and they would
Yes.
go and sign. A lot of parents did. All right. When we broke the news to the parents, and I issued a letter to all parents warning them not to sign. All right. And I'll go through the reasons why I've given them reasons not to sign. All right. Some of them would have already signed. Teachers have contacted me from schools and told me about the survey. And they are concerned themselves about the survey. They want to get a copy of the survey. But what they're saying about the survey is going to be confidential. It's going to be confidential. You're signing a consent form. There's no information whatsoever on that consent form. Has been no consultation with the parents. No set of relevant information was given to the parents at all, and you are allowing your child to participate in a survey, and that survey is going to be confidential. We don't know what's going to be asked of those children. All right,
So
the
you
parents
can't
are being
see.
asked. The
But your
parents are being
concern
asked to
is
pull out.
I'm interjecting because I want to make sure that our listeners are understanding. So your concern is that you have researched this survey because it was done already in Trinidad, and you're saying that there are particular uh, political groups, I call them political groups, that are pushing an agenda. And this is Friends for Life, and they're pushing the LGBTQ agenda. And they are also behind this survey. And you mentioned another LGBTQ
Right. Yes.
that's
There's
behind it.
Casio. There's also Silver Lining Foundation. We also have I Am One TNT. There's another one called Womantra. Womantra. These organizations, of course, represents woman, feminist ideology and so on. UWIIGDS, Institute for Gender and Development Studies. Of course, that's coming from the University of the West Indies. The Women's Caucus of Trinidad and Tobago say something. Then there's the Caribbean Male Action Network, Trinidad and Tobago Transgender Coalition. Imagine we have a Trinidad and Tobago coalition of transgenders.
And they are behind this survey as
Yeah,
well.
they're all behind it. And
So
presently,
no, bring us to the-
this particular survey, let me just add, this particular survey is being formulated and conducted by the Asexual Culture of Justice. It's a new organization. If anyone, let me just, this is the logo. If anyone could actually see, that's the logo. As you see, it's multicolored. It's a triangle, multicolored. It kind of gives you goosebumps when you see it. So this is what we are facing. All right. Now I did promise that I would just quickly go through some of
right,
the
just quickly,
yeah.
because we only have a couple minutes left.
So I would
So
have indicated to the parents that a number of reasons why why they should not allow their children to participate, and one being because of the age inappropriate content of the survey, lack of transparency, parental rights and values are being transgressed, religious and spiritual concerns, very, very deep religious and spiritual concerns, of course, and the potential for grooming. All right. Now, all these surveys has this potential for grooming children. And we are getting reports from the different schools right now, from teachers, from parents, from students, the type of conversations that are being had in the classroom in some of these schools. And the teachers saying that they have to teach it. It's on the curriculum, so they have to talk about it. Now, when you talk about it, you're putting ideas in these children's minds, all right?
Nice, yeah.
But these children, they're very impressionable, all right? And what it is you think is going to happen. In one particular school, teacher was speaking to the children, kids, primary school, and she mentioned, she was talking about boys and girls, and then she said, except those who are furry. Of course, the children would, what you talking about? What is furry about? And then she come out and told them, well, persons who identify themselves as a cat. All right? This is going to create inquisitiveness within the students. They're going to start searching. They're going to start browsing the internet. All right? What do you think is going to happen?
So Umar, you tried only because of time. There is an issue of censorship that you want to talk about, and I want to say thanks for bringing us up to date on what's happening in Trinidad as it relates to this issue. But talk to us about the issue of censorship. That's where we're really at today, right?
Right. So right now, as we speak, both my WhatsApp numbers have been banned on WhatsApp. All right. And it all started when we started to share the information to inform the parents and teachers what was this survey all about. And concerning the climate, well, they're calling it the school climate survey. And when we started to share information regarding that, Nine's number was blocked, and then one of my numbers was blocked. We both would have written in protest, and they reinstated the number. My number was blocked again. I protested, they reinstated it. My 365 number, which is the most important number, that's the number that I reached over almost 2,000 persons at one given point in time. By just one press of a button, over 1,500 people get the message at one time. That number was blocked. And then they came and they blocked the other number again, the 787 number. So my two numbers have been barred on WhatsApp. I have no access to these groups, no access to disseminating this information. So I have to use a roundabout way now to get some of the information out. Of course, it's not going to go to everybody. So I was, I usually would subscribe to a group called, what's the name? Citizen Go. All right. And it's a group, it's a global community of active citizens working to ensure that human life, family, and freedoms are respected worldwide, operating in 16 countries on 5 continents and available in 12 different languages. Citizen Go strives to protect fundamental rights and democratic values. What they have discovered is that there is a plan, or there is an ongoing agenda by UNESCO, of course funded by the United Nations, to censor um, everything that goes against their narrative. And we're talking about mainstream narratives on issues, challenging mainstream narratives on issues such as gender, abortion, pandemics, vaccinations, family values, and religion, right? So anything that, we try to push out there that's against their narrative, all right, what they're pushing, they're going to start censoring us. And I guess this is where this whole question of the cyber building in Barbados is all about, and the reason why they went about and targeted me. I'm the head of the organization. Take off the head. But I was I was telling my members today, they swiped at my neck and they missed it. All right. I'm still here and I'm still going to get that information out, no matter what. Okay. So, hard luck to them. But all I'm saying is that we have to be prepared, and we have to use very innovative and strategic ways in getting this information out. We may simply have to go back to writing letters. I'm telling you, I am telling you, and use our own local courier services to deliver these letters to parents and principals, get it in the mailbox, make sure those parents get the information, make sure those persons get it, and so on. Use it a lot for campaigning and so on. Everybody has a mailbox. We may have to revert to that. We may have to come out of off of social media, out of the websites and what have you, and so on. And we would have to move in a stealth fashion in order to get our information out. I mean, we can sit down, we can talk about this, we can come up with grand ideas, but we have to find a way to inform the people. And people need to understand when they get this message, they need to share it, they need to spread it, they need to tell their friends, their neighbors, their family members. Because if we don't do this, we are going to find ourselves in a very peculiar place. And that place is not going to be friendly with us at all. So we have to create a space that's going to be friendly with us, and it's going to allow us to continue living life as we know it to be, not how they want it to be, how we know life to be. And we have to create those spaces within our communities. And that is one of the drives that we are also pushing here in the First Wave movement in Trinidad and Tobago. And I can't talk much about it in public, but we are trying to do what best we can to reverse what these demons have pushed on us.
Yeah. Wow. It's amazing, Mr. Franklin. Listening to him, we he was going to come on just to talk to me about what was going on with the Ministry of Education. And I noticed I wasn't getting any WhatsApp from him, and his assistant is who made me understand that he was WhatsApp. WhatsApp is who is operated in the Caribbean. It's Digicel that operates WhatsApp.
That's it's a platform that is owned by Facebook. It's they boast about their end-to-end encryption and so on and so forth. They boast about it being private,
But in the Caribbean, is it under Digicel, or it's not there? There's no.
Well, we have two networks here. We have Digital and we have the mobile. So they're both sharing that that responsibility, if I may say, in providing that service for the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. All right, but what I'm saying is that, I mean, what I was sharing was simply information, because we realize that our children are at risk, and we're just warning parents and warning persons not to allow our children to be drafted into this unhealthy, dangerous type of activity. And that's all we're saying. And that's what we protested. And they reinstated the number. And then they blocked it again. And then they reinstated it. And now they blocked it. And it does look like it's a permanent ban, for all I know right now. But I am going to challenge them. I'm going to send them a pre-action protocol letter. And it may be a precedent we're going to set here in Trinidad and Tobago. But we are not going to take anything lightly. All right? Nobody is going to censor the First Wave movement Nobody is going to shut up Omar Abdullah. Nobody is going to do that.
We agree. Mr. Franklin, what are your thoughts on what you just heard?
Well, I am saying here we are a few days down the road from Trinidad. We are marching behind them, very closely behind them. And we have to learn from Trinidad and see what these people are doing and make our plans to counter the government's behavior because all of them are going this way, you know. All of them are
Yeah,
going
they
this
all
way.
reading from the same playbook.
Yeah, I agree. All of they're doing it is just who does it first. It happens in Trinidad. Next, you know, it pops up in Guyana. But no, Barbados always tries to get in front. Our people always want to be first. But our people must be alert to what is happening. You know, I was going through this computer misuse, not computer misuse, that Cybercrime Act, and I laugh because everything that the government did when they got certain people in the police force to bug our phones falls right into what they are doing here. You know, what they're saying is a crime. So they did it and realized that, oh, boy, we don't want the boy to do this. Because in order for the police to bug some person's phone, you got to get an order from a judge. And we know in Barbados that phones were bugged. My cell phone, my house phone, everything.
Me too. I am telling you, Mr.
You know,
Franklin, I can tell you stories about this phone and me.
that I remember one senior public officer coming to me one day and telling me, "Man, you gotta be careful with all these people, you know, man. You know, so I called the person that I spoke. They said, well, you discussing with them?" He said, "Nobody." I said, well, "Get off this phone. It's bugged." So when I hear it, when I discover that I'm being bugged, I always say something vile and tell them go and play that to the judge. You know, so they have done it, and they know it was wrong. I know they come legislating, but they're legislating in this on the sly because they didn't tell anybody. We heard that it was going off to Parliament, and they did it in an emergency procedure. Like remember when I was in the Senate, I always complained that they bring these bills and want it passed in one day, don't give the people the opportunity to discuss anything. Yeah.
Yeah,
That is what they do because they don't want. They're supposed to be our government working on our behalf, and they're doing things behind our backs. If you had a person working for you and you discovered that they were doing things behind your back that you didn't want them to do, you'd fire them. And no tribunal in the world could reinstate them. And that's what we got to do. We got to fire these people because they're
yeah,
acting illegally and they're acting. I saw also today in the newspaper where Brian Strawn introduced a bill to validate decisions that were made illegally by VAT appeal tribunal, the tribunal that Bra has that does the appeals of the decisions. And they said that the deputy chairman, without any authority, sat and heard cases and made determinations. Now they are coming to the fore and saying if a decision was made by the deputy chairman who had no authority, we are now validated to say it is a good decision and it should be going forward. That's true. That is contrary to our law. Because when people were ordered by this tribunal to pay money, money is property. You cannot take away people's property without due process of law. And there was no law in place when when that tribunal did what it did. So the government is going and they say think it was passed without debate. That's the point I want to make. It was passed without debate in the House on Tuesday. So they're doing these things. So a person would now say, well, look, let's say he said, well, you owe the government $1 million. And know that you made the decision and realize that you couldn't have made that decision. What will happen? You will say, well, that decision was invalid. So you can't enforce it. Now the government is going and legislate in retrospect to make them illegal, make them legal. You cannot take away somebody's property from last month or last year or the year before. You have to take a person's property from today with some due process. You got to go through some process. These people are breaking every rule, and nothing is happening. So you watch. We got to get rid of these people.
Yeah,
They're not playing fair. The
yeah.
same thing Ryan Strong did with the severance payments um, amendments. You know, they went behind the people's back and tried to protect the hotels from paying severance pay, and they put an arbiter in place to make these decisions. And Ryan Strong signed the order. Now that
Yeah,
order will force people who had employees that they made redundant pay. And then since they didn't pay, the national insurance will have paid, and now the national insurance will go after these people. But on whose authority? Ryan Strong, he didn't have the authority to do so. So if I were any one of those hotels, I don't I want to stop the hotels, but I want this government that they're gonna stop acting illegally. If I were working for the hotel, I would say, look, sorry, Ryan Strong was not the minister responsible for severance pay. He never was, and he cannot make an order to that effect. So I'm not paying you a cent. Put me in court. Because somebody has to hold this unlawful government feet to the fire.
unlawful is right.
They, they're
Unlawful
getting
is
away with.
right.
They're getting away with. I want to
Yeah.
say something stronger, but I curtail it with unlawful.
I know, I know. But you hold that a minute there. Umar, I want to thank you for coming on, and you would have heard Mr. Franklin, telling you a bit about what is happening in Barbados, and I know that you don't have those laws in effect at the moment, because I remember you and I had some discussions, but it's quite interesting to think that WhatsApp, which is international, why would they why would they want to stop your calls? Because something is wrong, because the first time they said, oh, it was a mistake, and then they reinstated your service, and then it happened again the second time, and it happened not just to you but your assistant. Isn't that interesting? And all you were doing was warning the parents about this particular
Yeah.
survey. So yeah,
And the interesting thing too as well. I mean, Naeem is quite very active on these groups as well, as you would know. And apart from his number being blocked, his SIM card actually um, had lost service for quite a period of time. All right, and there was no issue with the network at the time, but just his SIM card alone. Um, they are singling out us, and they're targeting us, and they're trying to intimidate us with their foolishness. But it's not going to work. It's not going to work. All right. They would probably have to hold us and lock us up and put us in jail. But I want to tell them something. There's no jail in Trinidad and Tobago to contain Umar Abdullah. There's none. So don't even make the mistake. You'll have a bigger problem on your hands. All right? So just leave us and let's do what we need to do. We need to warn the parents. We need to save the children. Let us do that. All right? We're acting on your behalf. It's your children also involved. It's your grandchildren. It's your future generation. Why can't you see that? Why can't you see that? But I'll tell you something. That same legislation that Barbados is hovering on right now, that was presented to Barbados from 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 an international source. It was presented, every word, every letter, and they're just being asked to rubber stamp it. That's what Barbados is doing. All right. So they're following the dictates of their masters, and we are not going to allow those masters to come back again and show their face in the Caribbean region.
yes, yes. We have to be really really strong about it. But I thought it is was important, Mr. Abdullah, that you come on and talk to us in Barbados about what is happening to you. I remember you and I were on the phone, and we both heard something change in the phone, and we both knew that we were being listened to. I don't know if you remember that time,
Yes,
and we
yes,
got
yes.
off the call. and all
Yeah.
we were doing was planning a show.
Yeah.
That was it. And my phone, I've lost so many phones. Really, right now they've taken a whole channel. Based on my research online, I realized what's wrong with my phone. I can't use my phone unless it's on what you call it, I can't remember what I mean. I can't hold it in my ear to listen. I have to put it. Why am I need coffee or something? Not thinking tonight, but I know what's happening, and it happens sometimes with Kimar and I speaking. We know that we're being listened to, and I don't see that in the cyber bill though. I don't see that inside there. That's the thing, and we're going to talk about that some more tonight. How one sided this is. So how one sided the whole thing is. Yeah.
Yeah.
But Omar, I want to thank you for coming on tonight and for letting us know what is happening to you in Trinidad. What's happening with the children. With this test or survey that they want to put on the children. I'm glad that we were able to use this platform to say what you were trying to say on WhatsApp.
Right. And I
And
thank you for having me. And I know this program is going to reach a lot of people, and it's going to open the eyes of a lot of people, and a lot of people are going to continue learning about what is happening to them and so on. And I don't mean this literally, but we still have the pigeons and they still fly about the place. All right. And just how we used to use them in the past, we're going to continue using the pigeon. All right.
yes, thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming on, Mr. Abdullah. God bless, and we're gonna keep it. We have to stay together. We
Yeah,
have to stay together.
definitely. All right.
Yes,
And,
yes.
and,
God
and we
bless.
still have to make effort. We still have to make that effort and continue the effort to unite the Caribbean under one umbrella. All right.
Yes,
Especially
sir.
regards to what we're doing. I continue to make that point every time I come on your program.
Yes, we have to come together. Thank you so much, and God bless Trinidad and Tobago.
Hey,
Yes,
thank you.
yes. Bye bye. Mr. Franklin is just right there, 45 minutes away. And he actually was locked up 4 times in Trinidad protesting against the mandates. And now look at what has happened to his WhatsApp number, you know.
If they block my WhatsApp number, I will get another. And another. And another.
I am telling you, you're like me, Mr. Franklin. I've made up my mind that there is nothing that's gonna stop me from speaking. Absolutely nothing. You put me in jail, I will be there. I'm in handcuff or wherever you put me, and I'm gonna be talking. You're not gonna take that right from me to speak. You will not. I will, if I need to go stand up, go climb a tree and talk to the people. Because, Mr. Franklin, if they ever mess with what we're doing, we will just block traffic in town. Bring the people out. But when I say block traffic, I mean with the numbers. They will come out to hear what we have to say. If we can't say it online, well, we're going to go up on the street and say it.
Nobody stopped me from talking. As a matter of fact, I was told I have no memory of this, but the doctor didn't have to slap me. I came out keeping noise. So they ain't gonna stop me.
There's a little video that you sent. I see Lumumba there. He's going to come on. But I think this is important at this time. A little video. And I asked Dave to show it for us tonight. So it's about that little bird, right? I want everybody, I hope we can watch it clearly. And so we can chat about it. Lumumba, watch as well, Lumumba. I know you're off, but you please watch as well.
0 to 40 miles an hour in under a second. The fastest acceleration of any bird of prey. Short, rounded wings and a foot-long tail steer through dense forest with unparalleled agility. Yet even she can be outmaneuvered. Other, much smaller creatures here possess astonishing abilities that can defeat the phantom of the forest. With specialized eyesight adapted to low light, the chickadee is first to spot the airborne threat. And first to raise the alarm. A coded message, broadcasting the hawk's position and speed. Squirrels not only recognize the chickadee's call, they've learned to mimic it almost perfectly. In seconds, the warning is retweeted from one animal to another. It relays through the forest at over 100 miles per hour. More than twice as fast as the hawk. Message received, loud and clear. Enemy approaching, low and fast. When the little guys look out for each other, it keeps them one step ahead. You don't have to be big and tough to survive. What you really need are friends. Welcome to the world of animal alliances, where creatures communicate and collaborate in wonderful ways and form the most unexpected partnerships.
Mr. Franklin, you sent this video. What is the message? What do you want to say to the people?
You know, just the last part of the video, it tells you, you know, when the little guys look out for each other. That's what we are doing now. When it says, and you don't have to be big and tough. You know, you need friends. And that is what our opposition movement is doing. We are not tough, we are not big. We don't have the financial support that the government and everybody has, but we are making a message because we have some friends. Look at this microphone in front of you. You will not hear me, and people got a microphone for me and send it. You know, that's what I tell you. We got to get together and do these things. A lady came to the office and she gave me an envelope. She said, "This is for Marcia. I got it in the office. They're waiting for you." You know, you know, because we get together, the little guys. She told me it has $50 in it, but you know, 50 and 50 and 50 and 50 and 50 and 50 and 50 becomes 1,000 eventually. You know, so all we have to do is to get together. I always tell people that's what a trade union is also about. You know, when you stick together, they can't break you. The government could be as tough as they like and do what they want, but if the people stand up and say, "But we are not complying with that," who they gonna do? Lock up everybody? And that's what we have to do. We do not have to be afraid. They pick off me. Yeah, so what? I will go down to I get locked up. I go to the prison and sit down because I have a lot of friends up there, represent a lot of them, so they will treat me good. So don't worry about me. Keep on going. Don't be afraid. The only thing you have to be afraid of is fear itself. Don't let these people frighten you. They're bullies. Bullies back down when you stand up. Anytime you stand up to a bully, you're going to find somebody that's a bully. So we will stand up to this government, and they would back down and they would bully their friends in the BLP, because we will not going to tolerate them. And when they saw that message, they said, "Look, this message speaks to exactly what we are doing." And they had to share it.
Wow, it was very, very touching. And you know, it says the warning is retweeted and is relayed over 100 miles per hour. Those little birds, they took it and they retweeted that warning so that they could all get away from this big mighty bird that is coming. And the government might seem so large and looming, you know, But if each of us we do the part, last night I went to was at a meeting, and this gentleman came up to me and held my hands, and he said, Marcia, I want you to know that I watch your show all the time. I know his wife more than I know him. I can't remember his first name. If he's listening, I send a big shout out. And he started to pray for me, and that's that small little thing that he did. And he said that I'm not just praying for you now, but he says every time before your show starts, I pray for you. And I can't even tell you the name of that man, Mr. Franklin. I can't tell you his first name, right? And that's it. Those small little actions, as you're saying, it all adds up. It adds up. That person who brought that $50 towards the march that is coming up, because they heard that we said there was going to be a march. People already are calling to collect money. There's a lady in St. Philip, an old lady. She said, I can't leave my home, but I have something tie up here for you. She said, I have something tie up. I said, we collected enough money for the last one. You keep it there until we are ready again. And so we will go and get it for her. She said she watches every night. I guess her grandchildren, you know, show her how to watch the video. And she watches every night, and she has something tie up. She called me and told me that it's there. And I am just raising these things, Mr. Frankie, because they make me, sometimes I cry about them, because they're small, they seem small, but it just adds up, and that's how we're going to be able to accomplish what we need to accomplish in this country, little bit at a time, with just small amounts.
The widows might.
Yes, the widow's might. And I'm thinking of, um someone said, I didn't realize, I'm not sure, but it's being alleged. I know for sure commission was there, but it's being alleged that Trevor Prescott was also seen in the vicinity of the march. And this is why I'm telling the people, don't mind them. They say, oh, it's some little people talking. Just a few little people. It matters to them. It adds up.
No, Trevor Prescott might want to join the opposition, though. He might have a different motive.
Yes, 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 yes. Lumumba is on, and Lumumba is one of those little birds that tweeted the whole thing as well, and been tweeting out every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I think it's now midday that he comes on his Facebook page, and he is burning fire in tweeting out. Good night, Lumumba. Are you available to speak now?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, be hearing you loud and clear, Mamba.
Okay, brother Caswell and sister. Thank you for Marcia. Thank you for inviting me tonight to share a little of my experience and wisdom with the family.
You're most welcome. We're happy to have you. I don't know if you had a chance to see the little video. Did you see it?
Of course, I saw it.
Wow. Wow. What's your take on it? What's your take on it?
Well, I think it I did. I mean, when I saw it, and I actually saw us as
Yes.
they was talking, I was actually seeing us. So that video, um, from what I see, it appeals to us. You know what I mean? But that's what
Yes.
we don't
That's
have
what we
to
do.
we don't have to be big. We don't have to be mighty. But as long as we are together, regardless of what, we were like those birds that from on those that was from different species, but was able to communicate with each other, just like we, we have but from different religions, different way of life, different ways of doing things, but we are finding ways now to communicate with each other. because we see the threat. The threat is a bigger threat than us. Than what we. You are not the enemy. I'm not the enemy. They are the enemy, and that's what I see coming together here.
Yes, all of us. I remember those videos that yourself and Lumumba and Bongo Lights would put out from time to time, warning the people. And those are the tweets that little bird send out the tweet, and then it's retweeted and retweeted and retweeted. And until you were even at the press conference, Lumumba. And I love to celebrate all of us because
Sure.
people sometimes they see whoever is at the front, but it's not necessarily, and who sometimes who's at the front is not who really is at the front. But we want to stop and just to recognize those voices, those people who have been tweeting out the information,
Sure.
and we want to say thank you. Barbados wants to say thank you to you, Lumumba, for what you've been doing for us.
But and I would like to say thank you, the people. I would like to say thank you to the people for actually listening. Um, a lot of times, we get so caught up in images and how a person look, and we're not going to listen to a person as long as they don't look a certain way. But who God chooses to give the message to, it could be a crackhead. It could be a crackhead, and if you choose not to listen, that could be at your demise, So I realize, so I would like to thank the people, we stood up under me and Bongo Lights, when people was calling us all kind of names, and telling us to shut up,
Mhm.
now the people seeing for themselves what what we were saying. We wasn't getting anything out of it. I don't care anything about likes and dislikes. I just knew that a message had to be given to the people, whether I liked it or not, whether Bongo Lights liked it or not. We had to give a message to the people. Whether the people accepted it is their choice, but you cannot say that you wasn't warned.
Mhm.
You cannot say
Mhm.
that you wasn't warned, and so
Yes.
that is not on my conscience now. I don't, it's not on my conscience. Like, man, I should have told the people. I should have got on the video and told the people what was happening. Now that I'm seeing certain things, now that I'm seeing people actually dropping down from this injection, I'm saying that my conscience is clear. It's clear,
Yeah.
because you were warned, and you can't
Yeah.
say that. No one can say they weren't warned, but we choose to listen. We choose to listen to people that don't care anything about us. We choose to listen to people and somebody told me one time, the mamba, let me tell you this: Bajans like abuse. If you don't abuse them, they don't like you. And I was saying, nah, I can't go for that. I cannot go for that. And but I see over the times that the people that don't care anything about Bajans, Mia don't care anything about Bajans, the government, the BLP or DLP do not care anything about Bajans, but Bajans love them. I mean, bitches. I mean, you saw that lady. I mean, this is always on my mind. That lady a couple of weeks ago, she was a diehard BLP member. She probably was cussing out me and you, Marcia. You know what I mean? Our shows. And that lady lost her leg. She was actually working amongst them, working, cleaning up and stuff. And when she lost her leg and she wanted assistance, nobody came
Correct.
to her aid. No one came to her aid, to her assistance. And, so that should wake the people up of Barbados, whether you BLP or DLP, that they do not care about us. And as soon as we get it in our head, the faster we get it in our head, the faster we will now begin to forge a life that's life affirming for all of us, not just some people, not just a certain class of people, but it would be a life affirming for all Bajans. But we cannot do it attached to either two of those parties.
Mhm. Yeah, it's important that we remain independent in our thinking. When we remain independent in our thinking, then we are able to, step aside, really, and to look at the situation, evaluate it, and make the proper judgment. But when we are tied behind a color, then that those kinds of things happen. There's an echo on my call. I'm not sure what is happening there. Um, but before Lumumba, can you talk to us about the cyber bill and what's your take on it? Where they're planning to shut down people?
The cyber bill. If that's why I always tell my family to always go back into history, because once we go back into history, we will have a better understanding and understanding of what is taking place now. You know what the slave codes were. Well, the slave codes was actually developed right here in Barbados, called the slave codes. And that code, that was actually how to control a slave, how to the creation of a slave, the making of a slave. And that code went all the way to Mexico, all the way to Mexico, North Carolina, wherever it went, all the way to Mexico, how to create a slave. And this is just the same thing again, but just in a different form. This is just the same thing. How you can't speak when we want you only say the master, the slave master, whatever the slave master said, you have to say whatever he said and nothing contrary to what he says. And it's the same thing happening again. And this is why I'm telling people, when you know your history, you will see that there's nothing new. It's just a different face, different kind of people, but it's just the same agenda. The same agenda. Why would a black woman, why would a black woman go and actually put a bill in Congress to silence black people? Why would she do that? Why would she do that? This is a woman that got natural hair. She looked like she's cultural in a sense. But why would she go, if she was aware of her history, if she knew what she was doing, why would she go and put a bill in there because she said, "Oh, I don't want these people saying anything on Facebook because it's sensitive and it's this." Listen, the entire world is not fair. It is not fair. I saw a lady in Canada. A lady in Canada, Trudeau was like a little baby, and the lady was telling him, "You is a traitor." And national TV, you are a traitor. You betrayed Canada. And you know what we do with traitors? Traitors are supposed to be hung. And they didn't arrest her for that. Trudeau was right there standing up with his head down, listening to that woman, because that woman understood her power. She understood that, no, you don't, I don't, you work for me. I don't work for you. She transferred that power. And we have to learn how to transfer that power. They work for us. We don't work for them. And they don't have the right, as Brother Caswell and Kimar and everybody else was on your show, was showing people that they don't have the right. They just going around and doing whatever they want to do, and they don't feel they have to be held accountable for what it is. This bill, this bill is just another new form of the slave code. That's all it is. It's the slave code dressed up in a so-called modernized bill. The bill is to shut us up. We are not supposed to have an opposing voice. We are supposed to see things and don't say anything. We are supposed to shut up and do as the master said. And that is what she is bringing. In Black history, this is a woman that looked cultural. That's why I told people, that's why I've been telling people on my show that listen, you know how you identify the beast? You cannot identify the beast anymore by just looking at how they look. The beast may look like me. The beast may look like you. The beast may look like Mr. Caswell. You have to listen to what they are saying. No, you just can't just look at a look. Oh, well, he's a Rasta, so that's my Rasta brethren. You have to listen to what your Rasta brethren say. If your Rasta brethren is for the IDs, if he's for the vaccine, he is working for the beast. She is working for the beast. And it's the same thing applies for Christian, whoever, politicians, whatever there is, anybody, don't care how they look, that you see that they are perpetuating the destruction of their own people. You have to deny them. It could be your own mother, it could be your own father, it could be your husband, it could be your son. But this is the times that we living in. You cannot identify people anymore by how they look. It is what they say. And she identified herself by who she is. When she went and said, I want this bill because I want to shut people up. Who is her? Who is she is? You have the right to talk. When the BLP was trying to come into power, you see what they did to the DLP on Facebook. Everybody see what they did. I mean, it was no holds bar. It was reached a point where it was almost threatening, and nobody said anything about it. It was good, but now the fire is coming at them. All of a sudden, it's a problem. We got to stop them from talking. We got to stop Marcia. We got to stop Lumumba. You got to stop. But listen, what they don't understand that this is beyond what they think it is. I always tell people we have to do it right here in Barbados. You see what the brother Umar was talking about, what's going on in Trinidad, it's going on in other places. If we do not break that spell right here in Barbados, it is going to filter throughout the Caribbean. So it is up to us in Barbados to do it because our brothers in Trinidad, in Jamaica, all over the places is waiting on us to break it. And we gotta break it. Don't care what Cadell, I guess I always call her name wrong, but whatever her name Cadell is, and she feels, listen, this is going to destroy. I tell them already, you are playing with things that you don't understand. They are playing with spiritual things that they don't understand. They lie to the people. They caught the people. They tell the people to go and take a shot that they knew that it was poisonous. They knew it was going to kill them, and they sat back and watch it. Then they tell the people to go and take an ID, and they know that the ID is taking the people into slavery again. I ain't dealing with. I am not on. I am dealing on a spiritual level now, and they know that that ID is going to take the people into slavery again. And these is people that look like us. People that look like us. It's working for white people to guide us back into slavery and to enslave our entire generation. And this is why we say we ain't going for it. We are not going. We are not going for it. Death is sweeter than living a life that Mia want the people in Barbados to live. I'm going to say that again.
Yeah.
Death is better than the life that Mia and her minions is trying to get Bajans to live. A life of corruption, a life of, you see what they're trying to bring to this country. Men trying to be women, men telling you that there's women, little children, they're trying to corrupt the little children. That is the life that these people are trying to bring into this country. They are trying to erase our culture. And we talking on Black History Month. So I got to talk. This is Black History Month. You understand what I'm saying? What they are doing, they know what they are doing is wrong. And they don't want us to speak because they don't want us to show them up. But they're wrong. And if they try to silence us, as I said on my show, if you make that move, then you do not understand spiritual things. If you make that move and try to silence the people of Barbados, you are going to bring a sickness to this island that you have never
Mm,
seen
mm.
in your life. I am telling you that. I am telling you that. This is the 2nd of February. This is Black History Month, and a black woman with a hair that looked natural got the nerve to go and say, I go and silence all the black people in Barbados. I go and silence. She doing a job that the white people in Barbados wasn't able to do. And a black woman is doing it.
Yeah. Mm. Uh, powerful, my brother. I have to mute your mic so that I can speak. And I wanted to stay on Lumumba for a little bit. And I realize that if you have to go off to do something, because I know you're operating your business at the same time, you can go ahead and go off and do and come back. But let me just before Caswell comes in, I want Mr. Franklin to make a comment on what Lumumba has said. But let me just put everything in context, right? And we also have Apostle Margaret Greedy here as well. But Mr. Franklin, I'm hoping I'm able to do this real quickly because my computer is slowing down a little bit. But I wanted to put it in context. And if you might have it there, I might be able to read it while I'm trying to get it up on the screen. I wanted everybody to see it. I think I just cut out there a while ago. I wanted everybody to see it on the screen. But if you look at let me see if it's gonna come up. This is gonna take a while for it to come up on mine. I wonder if Dave could show it for me. I'm trying to show the cyber bill. I'm having some challenges with my with showing anything on my computer at this moment. But the section 19, Mr. Franklin,
I am right
and I
there
think
because I wanted to talk about that. Which section you want
right.
to talk
So
about?
what I wanted to do before you just to read it for us and set a certain context. I think is it 19 and 21 or 19 and 20? Can just read it for
It's
me, and we set
20 is
the
cyber,
context.
20 deals with cyberbullying and 21 deals with cyber terrorism.
Right. So it's 19 and 20. Can you read them for me, please, sir? I'm asking you before I go to um Ambassador Breedy.
19 is quite long, but
I'm
let's
just
go.
Yeah,
Malicious
not everything, but
communications.
you know where the parts where we want read.
It says, um, but the part that I got highlighted, I will read that, and if you want any more, I'll go there.
Yes,
But it
yes. Go
says
ahead, sir.
here, 19, I have 19, 19.2. Yeah, 19.2. A person who intentionally or recklessly uses a computer system, A, to publish, broadcast, or transmit data that includes private sexual photographs and other videos without the consent of the person who appears in them, with the intent to humiliate, harass, or cause substantial emotional distress to that person. They're trying to protect the perverts. Now, if the perverts send out put their private business and photograph and send it out, and you do that too, and they can send it out, but you can't retweet it, and you're liable on summary conviction to a fine of $70,000. This is a magistrate, a magistrate imposing $70,000 fine or an imprisonment for 7 years. Summary means before a magistrate. So they are putting this in the hands of a magistrate. No jury, no judge, no jury, a magistrate. You gotta be careful with that. It says, and then they go on to, if you send repeatedly to another person data that is obscene, vulgar, well, I don't want you to do that. The other thing is that it's three. Part I don't like. A person who intentionally uses a computer system to disseminate any words or images, not caring whether they are true or false, and causes or is likely to cause or subject a person to ridicule, contempt, or embarrassment is guilty of an offense and is liable on summary conviction to a fine of $70,000. This is normally done for defamation of character. If I defame you, you take me before the court. No, these people are so mean that what is essentially no a private issue between two persons, they want to make it a criminal offense. That's the problem I have with that section. You know, if you are aggrieved by it, you go to your lawyer, put me in court, and let me go and get a judge or somebody to deal with it. No, but they want to put this matter before a magistrate. I do not like the idea of you are subject as a person to 7 years in prison and $70,000 fine by a magistrate.
Yeah. But Mr.
The,
Franklin, if I may just because I'm seeing this section that I wanted especially highlighted before Apostle Breedy comes on, because we're going to get a chance to go into it in detail afterwards. It says it's section 20B. A person who intentionally uses a computer system for the purpose of causing annoyance, inconvenience, danger, obstruction, embarrassment, insult, injury, humiliation, intimidation, hatred, anxiety, or causes substantial emotional distress to that person is guilty of an offense and is liable on summary conviction to a fine of 70,000 or to imprisonment for a term of 7 years or to both. Do we see it is so the if you say anything, if you put anything on the computer that causes annoys somebody, can you imagine? All of us, inconvenience, danger, obstruction, embarrassment. If I need to embarrass the government, there's gonna be a problem. Insult, injury, humiliation, intimidation. Who will be exempted from this fine of $70,000 or 7 years imprisonment?
but I find that strange, you know, because normally a magistrate can only sentence you to 2 years for an offense. Anything over that usually go to the high court. But no, they see, because you must realize that they're putting their friends as magistrates too. You know, we have a law system in place reduced to law in writing that says that how the process of hiring people in the public service must go. They have not been doing that. They're just picking up people and making them what they want them to be. And including in that lot of magistrates. We are seeing a lot of people turning up. Yeah, funny names, the boys a magistrate. No interview. Not necessarily being the most senior person. It is just at the whim and fancy of whoever decides that they're going to be magistrates and who are going to be judges. And I don't trust the system.
Well, Mr. Franklin, when you look at what is happening here, what this is saying here, we know we would not be able to say anything. Even preachers will get into trouble. We can't say anything. A group like mine, who would have done a piece that was disqualified, if it did anything, if it caused anybody to feel uncomfortable, embarrassed, anything like that, I would have been in jail since I wrote it. Right?
No, but Marcia, the priest who streamed his service in trouble. You know that?
Correct.
If you stream it, you're in trouble. These people want muzzle us, tie us up, bind us in such a way that we cannot speak. We can't just hold up our heads and do anything. But one of the things I wanted to talk about is section 13. 13.
Mr. Franklin, before you talk about it, because let me let the guests go ahead, and then I left some time at the end for us to get into it. I promise the people that we're going to get into it tonight. So if you could just oblige me a little bit. I have in the studio Apostle Margaret Breedy, and I just want to welcome her to the studio tonight. She's no stranger to us all. And we sometimes would see her preaching on the roadside in Barbados, warning Barbadians. God has given her many words, etc., etc. She's one of those who spoke up very boldly about the ID. And up to Saturday, I was in town and I was passing by and saw you had a worship session in the park. They're in town as well. And so you use social media a lot. So people like you would be seemingly, if this goes through, would be in jail myself and be paying out $70,000. So before we even go into the cyber bill, I want to personally thank you, ma'am, for the contribution that you have made along with others, because it's not one person at all. It's quite a number of us, along with the people who are here on message 605 of us here tonight. Everybody who's on and who has been pushing this thing. Thank you so much for your contribution to what has happened in the parliament just on Tuesday. God bless you and thank you so much. What are your thoughts about what the minister said about removing the deadline altogether on this ID? Do you have any thoughts on that before we move into the cybersecurity law?
They really didn't have no choice. The fact is, they had no choice. I think they thought that Barbadians are still docile, but they have to understand that there is a mixture of Barbadians now, a mixture of blood, a mixture of Barbadians with Jamaicans, St. Lucians, Grenadians. So they don't have no docile Bajan anymore. There is a mixture of blood. And so the fact is, if Bajans are quiet, God is going to raise up those that he has sanctioned to do the work. So they have no choice. And from what the Lord have been showing me, your next match is going to be huge. The voodoo is off. The voodoo for Ghana is off. It's off their eyes. It's off everywhere. And Bajans are going to wake up and Bajans are going to see that this administration is not for them. What I want to say here is that you cannot put the same people that vote you in jail. And that's what she's trying to do. It's more, as a matter of fact, if you look at the prophecies they have given, when this lady came in power, the Lord told me that she would be a dictator. Bajans, that she would be a dictator. And that's the, all of these prophecies have come to pass. I also prophesy that Barbados would be a republic. That came to pass. Hundreds of prophecies about Barbados have come to pass. So this lady is a dictator. And the fact is that Bajans has to wake up to fight that government. And, and I think Bajans are waking up. You cannot, all of this is the beast system. It is the beast system. But the fact is, she is the one to push the beast system into the Caribbean. Because she's the one. Barbados was the epicenter for 2 years ago. That's what, it was the epicenter. It's just like slave days. Barbados was the epicenter for the slave trade. Do you know that? So she continued to become the epicenter of everything during this end time. So I want to tell Bajans, wake up, and now is the time to wake up. There is a revival that has to happen in this country, and it's not going to happen under oppression. And that's the reason why the people need to wake up. So they couldn't do anything else. So all I want to say to you, Mrs. Weeks, don't be afraid. You are anointed to do this work. Don't be afraid. They can't do you anything. Remember, I was arrested here in Barbados for standing up for a young girl. That same cyber bill or computer annoyance where police came inside here. All what they put in that paper was not true. Police came inside here, beat up my children. I still have the marks. And then while I was in Jamaica preaching, God told me I was going to be arrested. I said, what I was going to, because I never had an arrest. I never had an arresting. I was arrested for that, where I helped a young girl and police came inside my house, arrest my 3 children. What this lady wants to do is to have a police state in this country, and it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen because you are there. Mr. Caswell is there. Other people, you are the voice for the nation, and I don't care who's listening. The Lord told me 3 days ago, don't stop talking. So I just want to say that.
Wow. You know, to think that how many years ago were you arrested? So we have to, Mr. Franklin, we have 2 persons so far that were arrested on here. So I tell you, I guess our days are numbered.
Yeah,
So
I think they're coming down. they get in there.
They should put some silver bangles on me because I'm not going to stop talking. So, how many years ago were you arrested, Apostle Brady?
Well, I don't know how many years that was. 2 years ago. Two years ago, I was arrested while I was doing a show, and a young girl was calling me to help her because she was raped at a church in Barbados. And I didn't know that pastor was part of the Masonic Lodge. And let me tell you, 16, I wrote a book about it. 16 squad van came to arrest me. 16 squad van came to arrest me. You would think I had drugs. They took away my, I had to get lawyers. So this is what this lady is trying to do. And I want to tell Barbadians, the Lord did tell me that this bill was going to pass and preachers are going to get arrested. Why are they going to be arrested? For preaching the word, and when they refuse to marry the same sex. And that's what she's trying to do here. And I am calling on all Barbadians to wake up, The Lord said they can. As a matter of fact, when they thought that they were going to charge me, God killed the man. I prophesied that God killed the man that put me in court. No, police never came. Now, when you want to give police that type of power, I know that there is good policemen and there is bad policemen. You cannot give policemen that type of power in a country. That means the country is a police state. And Barbadians, you are going to lose your children from that. And that's why I'm telling you to rise up now.
Yes. You know, we have there is a march that is coming up on February 10th. And we want everyone to come out to that. It is so important. It would mean all of us, I'm telling you, will be locked up. And if this goes through, and we want to say to Minister Cattle, Minister Cattle, we need you. You need to sit down and look at 19 and 20 again. It can't work. 19 and 20 cannot work in Barbados. So what would you want to say to Barbadians about February 10th, Apostle Greedy?
Well, my church will be there. We will be there in full force. And when you see I come out, the reason why I will be there, it is because you cannot allow an individual that you put in power to want you as a prisoner in your own country. You cannot allow that, because what I don't understand is that I don't see jobs being formed. From the time this government came in, all they do is to pass laws. I see no job. I see no jobs passing for young men to come out of the block. Is this a government of laws to imprison the nation? That's what I want to say. I'm not seeing no jobs. Where are the jobs being formed? Is it a government to just enslave the nation? Now, a good leader will not enslave her own nation. First of all, 2 years ago, people die before their time. Have you sold out the people? So I will be there by God's grace in all of our numbers. We will be there. We have two congregations, one from the north, one in St. Michael, and we will be there. And I am urging Barbados, all of you, do not stay home. Come in all of your numbers and let these people know that we have a voice in this country.
Yes. I must call you Apostle Franklin.
No.
Mr. Franklin, Mr.
I'll get
Franklin,
there.
what do you have to say to Apostle Breedy? Having heard that she has been through, basically, she has been through that. They used the other law, the Computer Misuse Act, and got her and locked her up. In what are your thoughts about what she just shared?
I don't realize that. I know they're bad, these people are bad, but I don't realize that they were so depraved because you cannot, I can't say cannot because they have. You cannot go and try to criminalize decent people because they don't share your views. I don't share a lot of people's views. That means I should be in jail ever since. And I am glad that she is no worse for wear, having gone through that experience. But that experience is not easy because you do not expect to be dragged into a police station. And could there, what about her that needs 16 vans of police to arrest? How many guns she had? You know? So which army she had with her? This they go overboard because they don't want it. Your views don't want it because you are a leader. You see, you have to destroy it from the head. Any movement you want to do, you got to destroy it from the head. So she was heading the movement. So they want to take her out because she is not out there washing the people's feet like some other foolish religious people. They're walking to the church and they're going to bring some water and blend washing her foot and praying for her and stuff. I don't know where it could. They get carried away with this nonsense, and they think that is worship. They're not worshiping Jesus Christ when they do that. They're worshiping her, and they don't realize it. They should stay away from the pulpit. They should stay away from whatever else they got in their church. There's not a pulpit lecture, whatever they got, but they should stay away from it because the people who really stand up and preach the word of God are going to be the people that they want to take out.
That's
John
the
the
thing.
Baptist. Remember John the Baptist, huh? John the Baptist was an irritant. So you were a modern day John the Baptist, but you still have your head.
Yes, yes, yes. Well, Apostle Breedy, I am so. I know you're a very busy woman, and I'm so glad that you're able to come on to the program tonight. And I don't know. I think. Do you think that this is something that for example, a bill like this, the churches or the pastors should be teaching the congregation about the bill, especially their section 19 and 20. Do you think this is something that they should take the time to talk to their congregation about?
Well, you have to see whether these are under the influence, because a lot of pastors in this country are under the influence. What I mean by the influence, if you are uh, if you, you are under her influence, you won't do it. But the fact is that I believe if you are a true child of God and you understand what is going on in Barbados, you as a pastor should teach your people what is about to happen, because the Lord showed me a lot of pastors will be arrested here. There is not a word I have given that I've dropped to the ground. As a matter of fact, when my lawyers were saying, "Oh, this is gonna drag on," the Lord told me, "Whoever touched me gonna die," and they did die. The fact is, everybody's not bold as I am. Everybody, you have to be in that realm to be able to do that. So we pray that those people that are listening today will understand this is for about their children. This is about Barbados and what is about to take place in this country, and they will come to that place to say, let me teach uh, our church about what is going on. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I but
Um.
but I believe, sorry, go on.
No. Go ahead, Apostle.
I from what I am seeing, I believe that there are ministers of the gospel that is waking up. And as I said to
Yes.
you, as I said to you, your next match will be huge. Um, Ministers of the gospel, they are waking up. And I believe people, if you are in the presence of God, you see the spiritual climate over Barbados is not very good. It's not a very good spiritual climate. And the fact is, I believe people are waking up. People are waking up. I guess I cannot speak about that on this live, but I'm telling you, there will be a movement in this country. There'll be a mighty movement in this country. I have seen it. The Lord have showed me, and there will be a movement. There will be a movement that you have never seen before. It's coming.
Hmm. And I tell you, there will be I know for sure they need to, and I'm hoping that Minister Cattle is a reasonable woman, and that she will listen to the people. This is not going to go down well because, I mean, I tell you, I don't. This one is not going to go down very well for them. I want to thank you so much for joining us, Apostle. As I said, I know you're busy and you took that time to be here with us this evening. God bless you. And is there anything else you want to say to her, Mr. Franklin?
Not just keep the faith, keep working for the people of this country, keep working for God. God will protect you, as He has already.
Thank you so much.
He's removed a stumbling block in the past. He will remove more.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
have
you
I
hear
have
me?
to run, but you will see me on the 10th. I will be on the streets on the 10th. All right? I have
Yes,
already tell the people of God in church that we will be marching and we will shut down every business to be there on the 10th.
yes. Okay, thank you so much. God bless you and continue your work. God bless you. Bye bye.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye bye. Wow, that was a real life experience, Mr. Franklin. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
I can tell you.
Because remember, there is a section there about the police that the police can use their basically I'm paraphrasing because I can't bring up my stuff to see it, but there's a section about the police that is there that the police I think at they can use their own discretion to come into your home. I'm paraphrasing. Can you elaborate on that, Mr. Franklin, and help
The,
me?
it is. I don't remember the section, but I remember reading it where the police can swear a warrant before a magistrate or a judge on the basis that you are about to commit an offense with your computer. But Kimar was speaking about it, and I laugh, because it is at first glance, you know, well, this is nonsense. So how come this goes through Parliament with 30 people and they don't realize that? How will a policeman know that you are about to create to commit an offense with your computer unless they were bugging your phones and bugging your devices or something like that, and they're bugging them with whose authority or what have you, you know. So this is like KGB, you know, secret police that what we are trying to do. And the thing is, also, if you go down to section 24, I think it is section 24. Yes, the section 23 gives the police. But we're talking about section 23. 24 now is the warrant.
Mm-hmm.
The 2023, the police can get a warrant, right? And for a warrant for a whole bunch of things, within
Speak up
your
a little
computer.
louder, Mr. You're moving away from the mic. So
Sorry, that's because I turned to
I know.
to read. Sorry about that. I just put this a little closer to my face. And then it says now that you must assist the police. You know, we have a right not to self-incriminate. So if the police, it says that a person who A is in possession or control of your computer data storage medium or computer system, or B has knowledge about the functioning of your computer system or measures applied to protect the computer data therein that is subject to a search or seizure shall assist the police in the execution of the warrant under section 23. All right? But go if you go up now to section 23, I've written down the notes, right? Sorry, I got to check my notes. Section 23.3. A person who fails without lawful excuse or justification to assist the police officer in accordance with subsection 1 is guilty of an offense and is liable on summary conviction to a fine of $25,000 or to imprisonment for a term of 2 years or to both. So the police want to search your computer. You say you want to help him, and when they say without lawful excuse, who's to say that I'm going to say, but I am not going to help you because you want lock up me, and they're going to say that's not a lawful excuse. But you have a right not to self-incriminate. You can, the police cannot force you under ordinary law to give information on yourself. But this here is somehow trying to do it. From as I said, I just only start reading it. But at first glance, this is what it looks like to me. This is too. This act is too draconian. There's some aspects of it that I like with the child pornography and all kind of stuff. But you see, they mix in the good things and then they put then the dictatorial, fascist behavior in other sections. So they will say, "Oh, if you oppose this, you support child pornography."
Right.
You know, so they want to label you. I'm not going for any labels. I will support the sections that I will support. Take out them and put them in another bill by themselves, because there are lots of things in here that I will not support. Mind you, section 13. You know, also, again, let me go back to section 13 because that bothered me for when I read it and I look at it again and I came back and I said, look, something is wrong here. I don't think these people went through this bill with any thought. They just decide that they're going to put something there to terrorize people, right? Section 13. It says here, a person who intentionally or recklessly and without authority receives or is given access to any program or data and knows or believes that the program or data was obtained without authority, and two, access to the program or data was obtained without authority, is guilty of an offense and is liable on conviction of an indictment. So the indictment is before the High Court. So in this bill, they've actually given the magistrates and judges now equal authority for some aspects of it. So a fine of $70,000 or to imprisonment for a term of 7 years or to both. I think they were playing around with it because this you don't give a magistrate all that power. Here now, some instances the magistrate can lock you up for all this time, and then the judge can do it. But my problem with this is WhatsApp. Let me tell you why. 13.2. It says it shall be a defense to a charge brought under subsection 1 to prove that the program or data or access to the program or data A was received inadvertently and with no intent to commit an offense, was subject to legal privilege, that's if you get your lawyer, or was received by law enforcement. Now let me go back now to here. It says was received inadvertently and with no intent to commit an offense. You send me some on my WhatsApp. It's on my phone. But it falls in here. I receive it. I ain't do nothing with it. I ain't do nothing with it, but it's on my phone. So no, I am subject to $70,000 because somebody sent me something. You know, and who is to say? How are you going to prove to them that you receive it inadvertently and you had no intent? It's on your phone. It comes from one of my friends that normally send me things. How am I to say or we believe, especially Caswell Franklin, because you know Caswell Franklin can post it especially if it embarrasses government. Who that I don't intend to use it. Now how can you prove that? How can you that defense is almost impossible to use. You can't say it was received inadvertently or there's no intent to commit an offense. How can you prove that? So it's on your phone. You can't prove that it was received inadvertently, especially if I get it from my usual people who send it to me. So right now, if you want to lock at me, you can send these things to me. And then the police can come and go to my phone. And I can tell you, the police can go on your phone, even if you delete it, and see who you get it from.
Right. See?
Remember that
But because
2007 World Cup thing? They had all that equipment down there, keeping back, and they're probably not trying to use it here. But they have access if they can get into your phone. Once they have your password, and haven't even if you deleted the information, the police can go back and trace it not only to who sent it to you, but who sent it to them, and who sent it to them, and who sent it to them, and who sent it to them, till they get back to who did it initially. I have experience with that, but I will not speak to it because it has national security connotations, and I'm not going to do it. But they can do that. They can go all the way back to see who originated the WhatsApp message. And then somebody sent it to me, and I enjoying it because I enjoy a lot of them. When people come and tell me certain things, and I might look at it and laugh and stuff, but no, I'm in trouble.
yeah. You know, I see Kimar on, and I know Lumumba is still on. But Kimar, good night. Good night, Kimar. Um, I'm looking here at this. I think you're ready to speak. You're wanting to say good night. Go ahead.
Yeah. Good night, everybody. Good night, Caswell,
Yeah,
Marcia.
Kimar, nice to see you.
Yes, Lumumba, and good night to the members of the loyal opposition.
Yes. Thank you. Well, thanks for being here. I'm here. I'm looking at this, the cyber bill, and there are some very good sections in this bill. I have to say, I went through it today. They have. I mean, you're talking here because the truth is there has been a lot of misuse of the internet and WhatsApp and so on. People taking pictures of people's dead relatives, and people. I mean, lots of things have been happening. So we need something. We definitely need something to be able to regulate that kind of behavior with this with social media. Plus, there's a whole thing of child pornography. There, section 16 of this is very good. Then there's child grooming, online child sexual abuse, malicious, and so on. It's when it gets down to the malicious communications and the cyberbullying and so on. That and when they speak about the police, I can't remember which section that is. That it's as Caswell says, draconian. And the Kimar, I don't know if anybody, you or Caswell, had a chance to look at there is the cybercrime convention
I don't think
that was mentioned. And it was mentioned, the Minister Cattle mentioned it to say, well, they're following the guidelines of, I think it's Budapest, the cybercrime convention that they have, and all these countries have signed onto it. So I was curious, and I went reading that and realizing, Kimar and Mr. Franklin and Lumumba, that there are sections in there about child pornography and all the obvious things. But these section 19 and 20 not in that convention. It's not in there. And from what I've seen, I'm not a lawyer, and I'm going to ask if there's anybody who wants to find it and read it and see if there were any guidelines in there or any sections. I did not see it, but I stand to be corrected. So you can come and let me know, and I will apologize, because I tell you, I'm not no lawyer. I just know how to read, and I read it. I read it once, so I probably need to go and read it again. I wanted to do that before the show. But from what I saw, I have to say, I'm not sure why Minister Cadell mentioned that convention on cybercrime, because I don't know if that's if what she was trying to do was to say that justify section 19 and 20 and the things that are in there, the draconian areas of it, or she was saying that they took other sections from this convention. I'm not sure what the motivation was, but I don't see where it reflects, right, the issues that we have. But would you agree, Kimar, that there are certain sections of this law that are important and are relevant to us right now?
Uh,
Kimar? Yeah.
yeah, right. Yeah, I saw some queries in the comments about people saying that bloggers like Naked Departure will not be impacted by this. That is not so. People like Naked Departure will be impacted by this, because there's a section in the bill that says application as to who the bill would apply to. So even if, I also said it on the show last time we were here, the bill applies to you even if you're on a ship in Barbados, if you're on an airplane in Barbados, even if you're a Barbadian citizen, registered Barbados citizen living in another jurisdiction. What similar laws apply in that country, you could be charged. So it's not that she's out of the loop, because the government's finding a way to get at her too, right? So you're seeing this cross-border connection between Barbados and the international jurisdictions about having surveillance from people, right? But I want us to remember that one of the consultants that was brought back and hired by the Prime Minister was a man who was relieved from his duty in the police force because of allegations of wiretapping, right? He was brought back. So, for all of the linkages here, the minister is quoting about international collaboration. I for a fact know that the Barbados police force, they're always saying that they want police, so they're short of manpower, and they don't have a cybercrime unit big enough or strong enough to monitor the whole place as easy as they should, which means that they be collaborating with international agencies and international countries, international governments to get the requisite technology and stuff to be able to monitor the citizens. So that is dangerous, right? Because you have people from the outside spying on us, right? And this is what we were alluding to before.
Mm-hmm.
Little small covert operations like the IDB survey, we didn't pay much attention to that. A lot of the creeping infractions, things that are foreign to us, that we realize that the foreign nationals now are dipping their hands into the domestic affairs of Barbados. We didn't we protested, yes. But even the digital ID, again, international countries, a bill similar to this was passed in Canada when Trudeau tried to muzzle the people in Canada, right? They're trying it in Australia, right? So everything that the international countries do as Caswell said, the thing we are the guinea pigs and the testing ground for, right? So God knows how much the government of Barbados is planning to go and spend on the technology, right? And there are only a few countries in the world who actually buy or sell the level of technology that the government wants to be able to spy on all of us. And we all know who they are because there are only a few countries in the world who run these type of communist, draconian, slave type systems in 2004. Right? So the legislation also is very dangerous from the perspective of it has no mention of the politicians, right? An MP could get up and he host a parliament and open his mouth and say whatever, even if it's a lie and he bend the truth somewhat. And he's covered by parliamentary privilege,
Correct.
right? So he can't get in parliament and slander any one of us without liability. So what they're doing is trying to reverse it, that all 300,000 of us don't have that privilege, but they, the third thing, they have the privilege to open their mouth and speak as they feel like, but want us to go jail for 7 years because we say something embarrassing about them. Right? The bill completely leaves them out. Right?
So Kimar, let me ask you a question. Kimar, this would mean, as you're talking, I'm thinking about the whole allegation about the $7,500 check that came about at Christmas time. So we would not, based on this bill, from what I'm seeing, we would not be able to discuss that.
I will be able to discuss it, and I will continue to discuss it because what she did is a crime under our current law. And don't anybody fool you.
But I was saying to Kimar though, based on what Kimar is saying, that and those sections of the bill, it would appear as though whoever discusses that would have to face that fine of $70,000.
Because she could
Or
claim that
7
she's
years.
embarrassed. She could claim to be embarrassed and
That's what
thing.
she could claim,
But
that she's
if
embarrassed.
the truth embarrassed you, well, we will have to fight it. We will go all the way to CCJ because that is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but. She admitted to it, and she should be embarrassed for doing it. She should pay back the man the money.
Caswell mentioned some sections earlier about if you get in possession of specific documents, and they start short of saying government documents, because we tend to quote.
Is any documents? There's a government.
Right. Good.
So you can get documents from court. This doesn't speak to any computer system in Barbados.
So if we come and read information, like what we usually do, right? Because a lot of things fall off the track, and we come on social media and quote official figures and document from publications that the government didn't want out there. They're saying that we are no liable for revealing the truth, right? So they could claim that they're annoyed. We cause them great emotional distress, right? And they put us in court and try to jail us or 70,000. Right? That is the downright military police state type operations where you put the persons like the head of the police, because they pay everybody, right? They chose the head of the army, they chose the head of the police service, they soon will choose a new president of the country, right? They choose the new commandant that we had. So they choose all of these specific people who are loyal to them to head the armed forces, because the government paid a lot of attention to the armed forces in this country, right? Because they know how and what type of system they're seeking to bring on us. So they also passed a decision in this country to bring a credit bureau, right? Because our credit score is going to be eventually placed on that digital ID. That if you have bad credit in Barbados or you owe any government institution, the government can deny you travel. The government can deny you services because you have a debt and you don't pay it. But remember, you can't owe the government. But the government's come for every right thing, right? So when your credit score, your most of Barbadians are in debt, Marcia, right? So you see, based off other countries, this happens in the world. Even if you jaywalk, they take minus points from your credit score, right? So if Barbadians are interested in living in that type of communist, draconian, slave-like system, go right ahead, continue to support the bill. But we're saying over here, no, 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 no. This is akin to both physical and economic slavery, and that your every move, your every transaction, there's no such thing as private anymore. We all are public entities, right? Public goods. Because there will be no, well, if the bill passed, there will be no such thing as privacy in Barbados. That's it.
Yeah.
Because
Somebody. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you called my name. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I did.
yeah. Well, I can just wrap on that point and say, right, there's no much such thing as privacy. Um, the land taxes gonna kill you, so they won't take out your property. They already put electronic tags on the car. They won't put digital ID to track your movements and to track all your financial transactions, capture your health information, capture your identity and your personality. And the idea is to get all of us living uh, um, at the same level. And throughout the world, the economic systems where most of the people are poor, and
Mhm.
the political personalities are the one who control the wealth and power, along with a few oligarchs. And that is the goal of this government, to completely destroy the middle class and the upper middle class, and to bring them right back down to the level of paupers, to get us begging again. And this bill is the step to muzzle people like you and muzzle people like Caswell, and to muzzle all of us from standing up and protesting against, because they know what they're about to do in this country is so severe. But they took the people's money, so they are following and singing to the tune of the piper.
Kimar, if I may just say something here, that a lot of Barbadians, some Barbadians might know, but I just, having gone through the last year with marches. I mean, we did 7 marches with through the show, but before this, I was doing marches way before that, all throughout the year and the year before, about the children and so on. And what I found out, what I realized, and I did a bit of research, that Barbados has some of the more stringent laws on marches and public protest. So already, I want us to understand, and I am one. I thank God we have some good police people in the police service who've been very good to us. But the laws, and Lynette Eastman was speaking about that Public Order Act. Already, I want my Barbadians to understand something. Already, it is difficult to stage a protest. All that we have to go through to stage a protest, when you compare that to Jamaica or to Trinidad and other countries. Yes, after, I think it was in 1930. No, not no, no. When they had it was in 1937. A lot of those countries changed their laws and made them a little stricter, right, Caswell?
No, the Public Order Acts, they came about during the Black Power movement with Stokely Carmichael
Right,
and those fellas in the 70s.
in the
That is when we,
70s. But before
yeah.
before that, right, they had some challenges in the 30s, and I know they started to change them then. But by the 70s, a lot. I mean, Barrow actually was the one who made those changes in the 70s in the Public Order Act, while a lot of the other countries, they didn't do that. And so already it is difficult. When I tell people in Jamaica and other places, and in Trinidad and St. Vincent and other countries, what we have to go through to get a permit to march or to do anything. It is not easy. And the only reason where we have some good people in there who are supportive, you see, but it's not easy. They're not breaking the law. Let's be clear on that. I'm just saying that they support what, helping us along in the whole thing. And then to put this on top of it, it's unbearable. And as someone asked, where are the lawyers? Why are we the ones? We're not lawyers. Why are we the ones that are reading it and saying something is wrong? Where are the lawyers in this country? Why should we, the citizens, have to endure this? Why do we have to, as soon as one bill is over, it's from one fight to the next? Because these people refuse to take take their foot out of our necks. They are the ones, the government have their foot in our necks. And them hands over our mouth. We can't breathe. We can't catch a break in here. Because they put all of this inside of a bill that is supposed to help. Child pornography, we're not for that. We're not for some of these hateful things that are being sent around, and all the sickness and so on being sent around, immoral things. But my God. And I went off and forgot the question I was asking Kimar. Kimar, I'm sorry. That was a question.
I hope it comes back to you.
Lumumba is quiet there. Lumumba, you there? Okay, I'm not
hearing it. He's not saying anything.
I remember seeing something online with my picture, when we were doing a march about the children, the child protection bill. This was before I was doing these marches here. And somebody take my picture, my good picture, and they put all kind of things on it, and they send it around and so on. These things happen. You think I'm going to lose sleep over that and then say, no, they must lock up the person? My God. To lock up the person for 7 years? No, man. This thing's something wrong, man. Oh, Lord. Let me stop talking. Go ahead, Mr. Frank.
You see this lady who talked about it was sick and all kind of stuff. I ignore her really, but it don't really bother me. But she has a very large following, and this bill is speaking directly to her and her behavior. If, for instance, it says if what she's done in Barbados is a crime in the United States, then it's a crime in Barbados. You can be prosecuted in Barbados for it, even though she is not in this jurisdiction. What happens? Because it is a crime over there, and it's a crime in our laws, they can get her deported. That is where it is coming. Because you see there are one little piece at a time. They're not putting anything but deporting and anything in it. But under other laws now, where we have a treaty with the United States, because in some countries, if you commit an offense out there and it is not an offense in your country, you don't have to honor your deportation order. Mm-hmm. So that is why they put that inside there. If it is an offense in the jurisdiction where you actually commit the offense, you can be prosecuted if you're a Barbadian citizen. If you get on a plane in Timbuktu and that plane or boat is registered in Barbados, not because we got a ship's registry, because maybe we're looking to get some monies, we let people register their ships in Barbados so that we can get the registration fee, and they said it's a Barbados registered ship. Now, if you're on one of those anywhere in the world, and you on your little computer taken away, boy, they're coming for you. This want to act like the CIA, the KGB, and Mossad and whoever else around there. be a little 2 by 3 country and all that, and they want to go and enforce laws internationally and all kinds of. I gotta let them mind the business, you know. This ain't got none to do. These things ain't got nothing to do with Barbados and Barbadians. These are pieces of legislation that were not inspired, or these particular clauses are not inspired by anything happening here. That the Prime Minister or whoever goes out and they get these and come back with them. That's why she's always traveling to find ideas because she ain't got none of her own. But I must warn you, more will come. Because I do not understand why you would rush a bill through Parliament. And one day, something as serious as this does not give the public the opportunity to discuss it and say what you disagree with or what you agree with. Because there are things here that I agree with. You know, and you rush it through Parliament. But then you have to make regulations to put this act into operation. But you don't put the regulations in place yet. So the regulations will come sometime down the road, and you will not hear anything about them, because you know that the regulations don't have to be necessarily debated in the House and published how to do bills. So the dirty work will happen in the regulations. What is wrong with doing the regulations one time? I remember when Barrow came with the National Insurance Act in 1966. There were so many pieces of regulations. There are more regulations than there are act. You know, sometimes some of the regulations are bigger than the act itself. But they were put in place at the same time, at the same day. Why can't they do that? They don't want you to know. And that is dangerous. So when you see a fellow coming up here saying, for those of you, good afternoon, Barbadians. For those who don't know me, his seat is being warmed up too, because he's doing it on Facebook, he's doing it on Instagram. These people won't lock up everybody. Remember, he said they were his friends. And all they're going to say to you is that when they destroy you, like all the rest of the friends that they destroy, welcome to the club. I will tell you about that later.
Yeah. I saw your question, Adrian, and we're going to get to that. There are many questions. Someone had answered the question in the comment section. But no, the bill is in the House at the moment.
No, it's in the Senate, because I saw some reference in the Senate on Wednesday.
Okay, probably, but if you check, it doesn't say that online. It gives the impression
never updated.
Oh, it's not updated. Okay, because online I thought it was still, you know, it was in Parliament, and my hope is that you know, what are and this is where I want to move the conversation. What is it we want to say to Minister Cattle, who might be watching tonight? What would you say to her, Kimar, if she's watching? What is it that we want to say to Minister Cattle tonight?
I would say to her that she was Minister Economic Affairs. She was not put back in the cabinet for a while, and upon immediately coming back to the cabinet, she was shifted over into a ministry where that's not necessarily her forte. I understand that the relationship between her and the Prime Minister has soured before. So I guess this is some type of revenge that the Prime Minister wants to enact on Marsha Cattle by trying to put her out front to do dirty cover work like this. Because I know Ms. Cattle to be an avid social media user and to be a person who is very pro free speech. I know she seems to be a very free-spirited person, carrying the afro, you know, and the free hairstyle. Very liberal in her approach and stuff. So one can't understand why she would be the person to do it, but this is the price that she wanted to pay in terms of accepting the ministry knowing that this ID project was coming on the pipeline. So if this was something substantial, the Prime Minister would have put it under her office, right? The Prime Minister took water resources because substantial things are going to happen in water resources. So you want to get the glory for that. But the dirty work, she put people like Marsha Cattle, because Marsha Cattle is probably disposable and she probably doesn't need to bring back a seat next time, so she could take as much damage politically, and if the project fails, then Miss Cattle could return to the backbench and collect a pension and be out. um, I personally think that the government has gotten to the point now that they just give up. They just say, the hell with it all, but they don't want to face judgment. Because this is a very serious judgment coming down here on the Marcy Reed show. So to tune on every night and feeling that fire burning, it's too much. It's too much. So they're trying to shut us up, right? They're trying to shut us up and shut us down and set the police to do that dirty work for them. Right? But I hope the police start up and realize what they're getting themselves into, because if there's anybody that's going to be more governed down now, is the same police, because their lives are going to be at stake, right? Because if, for example, the leader of the country decides to go on a vindictive rampage and they decide, we can set the police to come and investigate one of our own MPs, right? Because we believe that he committed a crime and his phone may have the evidence. So they're going to set the police to harass this MP, victimize this MP, take up the MP's phone, and then, MP end up in court, get one of the fastest court hearings that I hear about in a good while, and then he went court, and then this is the first court case that I hear that I got 2 court dates, and then so MP's in jail, and MP's resigning from seat. So it can be a tool to target anybody, Marcia, not just us, but nobody is safe, right? And I don't know, right? But I can't understand why the need for people who I know that definitely oppose these policies at heart still come to the parliament to be able to do this dirty work just to say that I am minister. So I think we need to move away from that.
Yeah.
Marcia, there's something I want
go
to
ahead.
correct. In my exuberance just now when talking, I said deported. I meant extradited. You could do extradition. You go through the hearings and get extradited to the country. I meant extradition. And while I'm on it now, since I have the floor, Kimar said something that is really important. And I can give you a story. When David Thompson was Prime Minister, David was my friend from school. So when he became Prime Minister, I was quite happy. As a matter of fact, when he actually got the 16th seat, I was on the phone talking to him and I congratulated him there and then. I was probably the first person to congratulate him. And a couple of days later, he came up with his budget and he had he raised the price of gas or something like that. And I saw his wife at the NUPW. I was working at NUPW at the time. She came in to do some business there. And I said, Mara, I got a message for your husband. She said, well, calling her. I said, no, I don't want it. I don't want to disrupt disturb me. Man's Prime Minister. I just can't pick it for and call you now. I used to pick it for and call it before. But now I figure he's Prime Minister, so you just because you got to pick it before and call it before, no, you don't think you want to abuse that privilege. So I said, tell him for me that when a Prime Minister delivers news, he delivers good news. And if it is something that he isn't going to get any credit for, you give it to a permanent secretary or a minister that you don't like to deliver. So that might answer your question, Kimar. You know that's where the Prime Minister might not want to deal with something like this. You either give it to the permanent secretary to deliver or a minister that you don't like. I'm not saying that you don't like Marcy Cattle. I'm just telling you the advice that I gave David Thompson.
Yeah.
I
You
saw him a
know,
few days later and he told me, received.
yeah. I believe I was saying to someone yesterday and today that I believe that Minister Cattle is somebody who is reasonable. And I remember that she spoke up against the changing of the Independence Day to Republic Day. She had a long message on Facebook, and she was against it. And I applauded the fact that she stood up, and spoke her mind. And I am hoping, I am really, really hoping that she would bring that to this issue, and that we be some there will be some opening, something happens, a consultation with the public, because it's not going to go well for this administration if this is introduced in Barbados. Minister Cattle, don't do it, please. If you're listening, please meet with the people, have some consultation. The same thing you need to do with the Barbados Identity Management Act. Focus on the people. Yes, the law is important. There are lots of sections in the law that is important. We believe that section 19 and 20, that they're draconian laws. That it's not. I don't even know if you would have the resources in the country to really catch everybody, and to criminalize or whatever, lock up everybody. It's not possible. It doesn't make sense. It wasn't thought out properly. And I'm saying to you, ma'am, I think you need to rein it back and bring the public in. You know, I know you have to have something there. You have to police that kind of behavior. You're going to regulate it. But this is too much, and it's
Mar-
not going to work.
Marsha, as you were speaking, right, it became very clear to me that the bill, they're looking at this thing from a numerical perspective, right? And saying that we need to find a way to tap a high frequency transaction. So when you look at a WhatsApp, there are X amount of messages that are sent daily in Barbados, right? And the government is saying, well, to tackle these outspoken people, we have, let me just say, about 10,000 outspoken people, right? We're going to put a $70,000 tax on these people via the courts, by the way. If they do something that they are inherently, I would do it as a habit. It has to happen. Information has to pass. We cannot help but to communicate, right? So they're finding a very smart way to tax communication, because communication travels at a very high frequency. So they try to monetize a daily habit of the people, right? So to tackle, remember you're looking at it from a technical aspect. So to tackle this issue of outspokenness, these outspoken people can't help themselves but to be outspoken. So for every time that they want to be outspoken, they're gonna pay me $70,000, right? So you see after let's just say we all had it, $70,000, right? Because if we had the money to pay, or if we don't, they're gonna still benefit if we go to jail, because jail is sort of like a bond, right? So there's still some level of compensation if you go to jail. So they are starting to benefit financially in a very serious way if they're able to implement this legislation, because it comes across again as a tax on people's communication and the propensity to communicate. So as I said, we can't help but help send. Every time we get send on your phone on WhatsApp, we just click send, and then the click of our finger, we're able to communicate to 50,000 people, in 100,000 people, 300,000 people in the click of a finger, right? So again, that was just, I said this just my technical way of looking at it as a person who has studied uh, development economics. I looking at where these modern day World Economic Forum analysts analyze the new behaviors and the new trends in economies, right? So ask as well, wherever have you seen in the world have fines been so high uh, for persons just speaking, right? Not even the you could get you could commit murder and the bail for murder is substantially less than it is, Marcia,
Mm-hmm.
for these fines, right? You could steal, you could be a you could do so much, you could molest, be a pedophile, and you still wouldn't be charged $70,000 in a law court, right? So that's something to think about there. But these fines, right? I don't know if Caswell could share some insights on this thing, but these fines, right, for speech, Marcia,
Mm.
and speech is a free flowing aspect. You're not meaning to kill anybody. You're not stealing. You're just speaking freely. But for your mouth, you got to pay $70,000. So I just see it as a way to say, well, not enough people are dying from murders. Not enough people are dying fast enough from cancer. Um, Not enough people are dying from the job. Um, so we can't tax those. So we ain't gonna do it. So let's tax communications. Let's tax the WhatsApps. Let's tax Telegram, because again, the frequency and the volume of people on these apps, they had to find a way to try to monetize it and at the same time try to silence you from talking.
Very interesting
If they
observation. Go
try,
ahead,
if
Mr.
they try
Franklin.
to lock me up, if they lock me up, you will get a lawsuit. I will call my lawyer and I will tell him I want you to bring a case against the government for the diet I have the prisoners on. As a matter of fact, prisoners in Barbados has gotten scurvy because the diet is so poor. You know what could avoid scurvy if you just give them a little lemonade. So you just how bad the things that so if they can put me, they're going to sue them for the diet. Prisoners are getting
You know,
sick from the diet, so don't put me up there. I will sue them for that too. So I let them go along.
yeah,
I got more to say
you
about
know,
that, but I just dropped that little piece in there. You imagine
yeah,
people in
yeah.
Barbados getting scurvy in a government institution?
In this day
Tell,
and age,
let them
but
say that
you
I'm
know,
lying.
yeah, you know,
Fella
Mr.
teeth drop out.
Franklin, we had scurvy. All he needs is vitamin C. You know, but
The lemonade.
a little lemonade could do. You know,
Yeah.
Mr. Franklin, I'm here thinking, because I mean, I do understand that there are people who would make up something and send it out on people and so on. We understand that. We understand that. And I'm saying there must be a way, Minister Cattle, sit down and look at it. There must be a way that you be able to punish that kind of behavior without causing people to feel they can. Remember, it says in section 20, if somebody even just feels embarrassed, I am sure the minister would have felt embarrassed. We were calling her name because the name was printed in the paper, Santia Bradford, Santia Bradshaw. Everybody saw it in the newspaper. So I don't know how it would work. So how would we be able to discuss any issues then? If you can't call the name and if you mention that person's name and they are embarrassed or they feel ridiculed or they got anxiety, she should get anxiety over it. She should be embarrassed over it. I can understand the anxiety and the embarrassment. You understand? I don't understand that. if we were to talk about say Neil Rowe, and when you remember when the thing was leaked from from the police,
The police report,
right?
yeah.
The police report was leaked. Let me put it more like that. The police report was leaked, not that it was leaked from the police. The police report was leaked. You had to discuss that. You have to discuss it. We are people and we have to talk. So we have to be able to find some medium there that you are going to be able to punish people who are seeking to destroy people's reputation. But when something is happening something has happened in the country, you can't be saying we cannot discuss that because somebody's going to feel embarrassed. So I mean, and I'm thinking, Mr. Franklin, it is so frivolous. Somebody made a caricature of Marcia Weeks. It's true. Somebody went and took a nice, pretty picture of me and made a caricature of the picture of Fred
Ma-
Garvey and
Ma-
a couple of other people, right? What am I going to do? What am I going to do?
Marcia,
I agree to put somebody for 7 years in jail for that? No,
Ma-
no, it's no.
Marcia,
Yes, Kimar.
sorry. Right. Speaking of embarrassed, right? Um, the government should be embarrassed for what they found out today about them. As to what's happening
Yes.
with those houses in St. John, right? So I should be looking at $70,000 for that, for telling the truth, for embarrassing the government, for showing that they were telling lies to the people of this country, saying that they were building 203 houses, and that they started these 203 houses, and not even 30 houses on the spot. I mean, not even houses, just partial structures, because none of them is due, not a roof, and on none of them.
You have any pictures? Because I was thinking, Kima, it would be good if we can spend some time on Sunday. I was leaving from 9 to 10 in case we had any other issues, right? To discuss. But this one took up the whole show. You have pictures?
Well, I have pictures, but I know I do not have the facility where I could put it on the screen right now. But I will have to send you some pictures that you could use probably for the next show.
Yeah, we can try it for Sunday to go into it a bit more in detail. We can mention it in passing, but we really need to go into that properly. Fantastic work, Kimar. But I don't know if we can really do it justice. No, because this thing is just ridiculous.
Hmm. Well, they need to either produce some houses, produce the money, or somebody should be looking at 7 years in jail. But these things happen. And why should Christ shame on this? You know that urban and rural development was under the office of the Prime Minister though, for all of that time.
Could you repeat, Kimar?
Rural and urban development, who builds the houses in Barbados, right?
Mm-hmm.
Was under the office of the Prime Minister all of this time. She only gave it away this in the
Right.
last reshuffle, but she had it. So those houses, along with the ones at Lancaster that are rotting, right? They say they're building 203, and then we go on the site, less than 30 structures there with all the grass overflowing, all the coverage, all the cobweb, the thieves taking out all the taxpayers' material, uh, running off in the sunset, doing whatever they have to do with it, and they're lying, right? I went there looking for 202 houses. And when I got there, I couldn't even see 30 houses, Marcia. But somebody has collected millions of dollars for the project, but we have no houses. So again, I want to see some houses. I want to see about the money that the government paid out, or somebody should be looking at jail. And this whoever was responsible for these houses, even as the minister of housing or as the prime minister who had control over building all the houses, somebody needs to answer to us for this.
This
All
is
right.
this is I would love to go down there myself, and I would love to do
And
that. I
take
have
some
to talk with you
pictures.
to tell me where it is. Go ahead, Caswell, you were saying, Mr.
No, I said
Franklin.
go down there and take some pictures. But I wanted to, like, before we get down to the houses, what you were speaking about just now with the trying to lock up people for embarrassing people and in Barbados over the years, we have laws, used to be defamation laws. If you publish something about me and it is untrue and it causes me any embarrassment or hold me in up to ridicule and lower me in the estimation of right thinking people, that's defamation of character. That's a private matter between you and the person you do it to. Get a lawyer and put them in court. So why is the government intruding into that? They want money so bad? Because what will happen now if the police prosecute you for saying these things about a person that lock you up or whatever others, fine you the $70,000. Then the person that you said them about could still come now and sue you in the civil court for defamation. So the government want piggyback on everybody little thing. Or because you cannot now go and say, well, this person was convicted for this crime. Because no, it's a crime. So you can't say, well, you don't got the defense. So you know the police can sue you, and then the guy who you speak about, Sandra Bradshaw, can come after me because they said that she went to do a corrupt act. She can want to come after me now because they published it on this computer system that we got here. You know, that is so no. This thing will real and come again. You know, there are more than enough laws in Barbados to prosecute people either in the criminal jurisdiction or in the civil jurisdiction for when you make these irresponsible statements, statements about people. One of the problems that you cannot do it with the computer is that if the computer is in the States, the offense wasn't committed in Barbados. And there was one case with Nevis Pages where I think that was the ruling, but I got to double check it. Because you gotta find sue me where the crime was committed. So that's why they want to bring it here. But let that still remain a matter between the people who were offended. The person who commits the offense against you and you. I don't see why the state would want to get inside there unless it's just looking at money because they put a big money by it. You know? And Kimar is quite right.
Yeah, $70,000 to speak, and I want my fellow Barbadians. This one is really, I'm very quiet in my spirit about this because when I say quiet, that's somber, because this is very, very, very wicked of these people. Already, it is difficult, Mr. Franklin, to lead any protest. The red tape that you have to go through. You understand? To get a protest done in Barbados, it is difficult. I remember the first time that I was going, when I got there, the impression that the first, the desk they gave me was that it's going to take weeks and whatever. I had to let them know that my lawyer said, I had to pull out that line on them. My lawyer said that the law says it's supposed to take 3 days. You understand? But it is not an easy process to speak up in this country through a protest. And now to express ourselves, you're gonna tell me a little young person draw a little caricature of me, Marcia Weeks, and I am going to want them to spend 7 years in jail. You mad? That is madness. I just can't. I can't comprehend. It can't be for real. Miss Scattle, I would like her to. Are we interpreting this wrongly? Because this doesn't make sense, ma'am. I believe she's a reasonable person. You know.
You see, Maxine was making a point there in one of her comments.
Yes.
You know, because it isn't Marshall Capital alone, it's all of them in the cabinet. Mia and the other, God knows how many people she got in cabinet because he lost count now. How many people she got there? all of them. And if you did not agree with the decision of the cabinet, you are duty bound and convention bound to leave the cabinet. So as long as you are in the cabinet, you agree with every decision of the cabinet. There is no I did there, but I said no. I don't like it. No, if you don't like it, you're supposed to leave. Because when the cabinet comes to the house, the cabinet comes as one body and they bring the legislation. Mind you, all of them bring it. The minister in the subject area will bring it, but all of it has the backing of all of them. Or you cannot remain in the cabinet. So it isn't only mayor and what's the woman's name now? I keep forgetting because she's not significant. Cattle. It isn't only the two of them, it's all of them. Every one of them. Up to and including Chad Blackman. Are you know Blackman? Up to and including all of them, because they're, yes, and Kenneth Norbert said collective responsibility. They have collective responsibility. All of them are guilty of this act. I said they're guilty of this because this is almost a crime.
No, but I mean, I don't understand why you would want to do this to your people. This
Because
doesn't
you
make
don't
sense.
care about them. You don't care about them.
Yeah, the spirit of this is wrong. The spirit of this is wrong. And here we go again. Here we go again, and it's so sad. It is very, very sad. And we just got off one thing, and we can't rest. We're back on something else. We do need a piece of legislation like this, but not this one. The same thing with the child protection bill. It is so wide, the breadth of it. And this is the same thing with this. It's just nonsense. If somebody's anxious, somebody are emotional distress, what are you talking about?
I think the people who came up with this got some issues. Might be psychological. They're gonna be mad. Listen, this is not right thinking. People doing this it can't be considered right thinking. But, the thing is, when you run an election, you publish a manifesto, and you tell the people this is what we are going to do when we run this country. We weren't prepared for these things. They may tell you anything, and this is certainly not an emergency, so you should got it there. These are not emergency. I can understand if something happens and you got to do a quick piece of legislation for it because it was an emergency, but these things this should be on their agenda. Because let me tell you how it works in England. In England, the parties publish a manifesto.
Yeah.
And when you publish a manifesto, that is the program that you're going to implement for your people. The permanent secretaries of the particular ministries, they sit down with their other officials and go through the manifesto. If one party wins, they start planning how they're going to implement the promises in the manifesto, and they write papers, do all this kind of white paper, blue paper, green paper, and all kind of stuff to get consultation with these matters. We have a government, a system of democracy that is a parody. I keep telling people, so it's a parody of what should happen. We have a dictatorship.
Basically,
But
see that. Go ahead, Kimar.
right. You know that they're going to completely take control over this island. And I heard Marshall Cattle speaking about it. Smart cities, where they promised to put Wi-Fi through the whole of Bridgetown and all these things. When you say on to their Wi-Fi network, is when they're going to be able to really track and get into your phone. Because a lot of people will definitely use the free Wi-Fi. But again, in communist countries and in Venezuela, you got like state Wi-Fi, you got free Wi-Fi, right? But the Wi-Fi is regulated that you can't post what you want, you can't use certain sites, certain information is blocked from you, right? So
I have three systems for Wi-Fi. One in my house, one in my office, and a portable one.
but Remember,
I don't like free stuff, you know.
but remember, in the bill, it says that the police have the authority to have access to any technology, code, or program. That means
Yes.
that the police could go and subpoena Flo under the cell,
Yeah.
right, and ask them what's happening on their Wi-Fi networks, right? So this bill is to go at Flo under the cell in terms of accessing their networks to get information on us, and two, to put the infrastructure in place so that when they roll out the government Wi-Fi, the free Wi-Fi that they're promising us, they will be able to completely regulate that Wi-Fi, because eventually, Flo under the cell will be getting out of the Wi-Fi business, and the government will seek to put their own Wi-Fi pilots through the whole island and get everybody onto that bandwidth so that they could completely control the whole internet in the country. But they can't do it because the internet thing belongs to Flo under the cell, not the government. Right?
Yeah. Yeah. Listen,
What
it's
are they,
10
what are they
o'clock, but
afraid?
I
No, but
see.
what are they afraid of, though? Tell me, what are they afraid of? They're afraid of the people that they walk among and come to join the campaign and eat pudding and sauce with. What? How come they get frightened of us now? They come to the door and knock and come in there. You see the good old days when people used to keep pause. You don't. Why everybody got waterborne system now? You ain't got no port to up on them. Cause I want them at my house, you know. My man just snow at them up the last time when they come out there, the holler when the snow was outside, and they didn't dare come. Now my little trusted snow. But this, what make them hate us now?
Well,
How
so
come they?
you said, what are they afraid of? Somebody just put up criticism.
But that's not to be afraid of. I take criticism all the time. Sometimes I use this criticism that people give me, and I use it to make me better. I welcome criticism. I don't want people to sit down and say, "Oh, Caswell, you're so mighty. Caswell, you're so good," and then they talking foolishness. Tell me when you think I'm wrong. I appreciate that. I had a friend. He's now dead. When we used to be at meetings together, but there were two of them, and they might not say anything to me when they get on the meeting, especially credit union. And but when I get home, the phone would ring like you should know when they get to the door, and they would say, "I didn't like what you did tonight," you know. I will go through it, and that means I go and apologize at the next meeting, because I had people like that. I could call their names. Goldwyn Edwards, he's now dead, and Pearson Bellamy, who was still alive. They would call me up and say, "I don't agree with you." I like that. I appreciate it because there's a keep me honest, keep me good, keep me going. You know, somebody, especially if I was much younger then, and I was more exuberant. I'm not as exuberant as I was back in those days, so you can understand. So, but my friends would call me and say, "Casper, you're the wrong man." And the next meeting, I go back to I go and apologize to people. I said, "Man, that is wrong, you know, man. I'm sorry," and thing. And I used to do that. And the thing that people that I apologize, I remember lambasting Horatio Cook. And and that's the nice thing about it, you know, because my last bus used to be 11 o'clock. I lambasted him 11:45. So I can't get home now. You know? And when I get outside, he say, "Scout, how you getting home?" I said, "I know you said about getting here." And he would drive me to Rock Hall, St. Thomas, and then head to St. Philip to go home, you know. Because those are the type of people. Mind you, I had my views, and I didn't like his, and I'd be have it out on the floor. But at the end of the meeting, people take a vote, he wins, I lose, or other way around, and then he can drive me home because I'm not gonna walk to St. Thomas because, and this I talk about at NUPW, but this is the type of people that I grew up among and learned to respect. I can't respect these people that we have now who think that their views are the only views available and nobody should oppose them. Man, look, I used to take some licks, you know,
Yeah.
and share some. But these
Yeah.
people want to share all the licks and don't want to take none.
Someone says here, and this is the crux of the matter here. And I know you. I know what. Thanks, Miss McLean, for educating me that it's really everybody. It's all 30 of them. But I feel like I want to talk to Miss Cattle. I don't know if I know she's married, but I think she still goes by Cattle. Miss Cattle, understand that we are this is what Prophetess Kerry Ellis Worrell is saying. This is why I do what I do. She says, in a democratic society with no officially elected opposition, the people need to be allowed to be an opposition. Why are they trying to shut us up? That is it right there. That is it. And this is like the law of the law, Miss Scattle. Think about it. We needed your voice when you spoke up about Independence Day. We were happy. We people screenshot that and send it all over because they said marcher with us. You understand, Miss Carter?
No,
So that's what I'm saying. And I know it's not just you, but I feel you have a level head, and I just talking to you straight. But I
that's
know
not that's not level head, Marcia. That's flat. There's a difference.
you know. Well,
You see, when she spoke up about these things, when she was on the back bench, that was auditioning to get back inside. Because when you speak up, they're going to shut you up. Why do you think the Prime Minister offered me so many positions? Because she don't want me here speaking. She want to shut me up and put me in a little cocoon there and I can sit down and that's the end of it for me, you know. So I don't believe that Marsha deserves or is merit any seat in the cabinet. I think what she did, she canvassed hard enough and when she to get back in the cabinet, because if you're there and the Prime Minister does not like criticism, so what will happen? You can't criticize the cabinet if you're in it. You know? So if they put in the cabinet, they actually shut her up or give her the opportunity now to come out and speak against the people that she was speaking up for.
Yeah. I'm
Oh yeah, sorry, Marcia. CG just asked if the place is available for placards. It's always open to you, CG.
Yes, placard time. So we're going to put up a notice. So the march, guys, is on Saturday, next Saturday. There's no excuse. Next week, Saturday, not tomorrow, next week, Saturday. And I'm hoping next week, Saturday at 10 o'clock, we're hoping to be at that same spot because we're here exchange ownership. So we have to work on that. But for right now, it's Massive Car Park. And folks, we need everybody to come down. These wonderful people will be there, God willing. And someone says, Marcia, stop wringing your hands and take action. This is what we're doing. We're taking action. But it still have my mind, as they would say, kerfuffle in Barbados. And because it doesn't make sense to me. It makes no sense what is happening. It has to be that we are reading something wrong, or it can be like 30 people along with the draft to sit down and put that together. That doesn't make any sense. Theory Gittins, I see you and I hear you. I've been trying to get my Instagram thing up. I will call you. I need some young people to come and help me. We need young people. We need to just have a show with young people talking about this, because this one don't make no sense. I want to hear from you all. You're a computer science student. I know you are you're busy right now, but get some young people from and let's come and talk about this on the program. We have to close, guys. And Lumumba, like, he went to sleep on us. He's busy, I held him on here. But Kimar, what you want to say to the people? It's 10:08, so we only have 1 minute, half a minute each of you and Mr. Franklin.
Yeah, well, good night to everyone. Um, when I thought it was bad, it just got worse. Um, I don't intend to live in any dictatorship, or I never intend to go backwards in time that we gonna live in slavery. So in a decades to come when your children come and your grandchildren come and the great grands come and they were asking, at that time when they were trying to put in a dictatorship, what you do? Um, did you sheepishly go along and take the job, and did you sheepishly go along and allow them, or did you fight? I could safely say that I fought with everything that was in me. And I will continue to fight to the end of the road. And that is my contribution for the night. So good night to everybody on the show.
Yes.
Normally, I will do a little wrap up and say thank you all, but I want to use my half a minute to say these people think we're idiots. We just had a state visit from the lame duck president of Senegal. Come down here and just sign all kind of things with a man who has 18 more days in office. And they make a big thing out of it. We had this great state visit and obviously all these benefits and all kind of stuff. From whom? In 3 weeks, less than 3 weeks, the man is no longer the president of any place. But this is show. And they wonder who pay for it. They wonder if Senegal pay for it or Barbados pay for it. Come here, so, and for the prime minister to stand up and hold her chest. God was going to say heart, but I'm still contemplating that there might not be any there. And then the last thing, some weeks ago, a man went into the polyclinic at St. Philip and he pulled a knife on the nurse. The permanent secretary said it was a one-off situation, and it isn't a one-off situation because Monday this week I was waiting for people to talk about it. I ain't said nothing the whole week, At the Brantford Polyclinic Monday this week, a man went there with 2 knives and threatened the security guard this time. When the police were on their way, he gave the knives to another patient to hide from him, and when the police confronted the lady said she threw them in the garbage. So when the garbage was checked, it wasn't there to search her bag, 2 knives were in her bag. Well, they hustled him off to the police station. I didn't hear nothing from any police station, anybody, any stuff. And we didn't hear the ministry come up speaking about protecting our nurses and our people in the polyclinics. They're going to wait till somebody kill one of them before you come and put. That's the laws that you should be putting in place. Putting laws in there to protect the nurses, not to lock up people for writing things on the internet, embarrassing you, because that is a more urgent problem. Because within the last month, we had 2 incidents: one in St. Philip, one at Brantford Polyclinic. But man, this time the last time had 1 knife. This fella had 2, and he threatened to stab up the guard. All right. So tell them deal with these things, because if anything happened to one of the nurses down there, all of them going to start working for a long time. They send the government to send you to counseling and tell you get 3 days and that's it, or 3 sessions. Young lady is hurt. You see, what they don't know about her is that she was part of a twin. That one of them, and her twin and her father died in an accident where she was in the car. All right? And now, when she was 15 years old. So now when she see her life flashing in front of her, it's traumatic.
Yeah.
And she could tell me the counselor tell she the manager you're crying for. There's a counselor? That the kind of counselor that government sending people to? No, we want proper counseling. We want people who and psychiatrists and psychologists, rather than people who walk there so and go and do a course online or something. And I'm telling them there are they call them, I don't know, trying to give people the impression that they know it all. How can you tell a victim that the man in jail so you still crying for?
Wow, we have so much to do on Sunday. I tell you, we have people don't miss Sunday show. We're gonna go deeper into the hope. Although that's not like distress. That's no hope at all. Those houses, and then we need to follow up on this situation with the nurses. Mr. Franklin, sorry you didn't get a chance, but this one was a big one.
Yeah, I'm aware.
I want to just let you remind people that the prayer vigil, the 24-hour prayer, That starts tonight. You can message me 236 7000. Those people who want to take an hour to pray, please do that. 236 7000. If you want to get an hour, I will be able to pass your information on to the people who will be able to sign you up. Prayer is important. Alwyn Bob, I see in the paper that he's suing the government, and we didn't. I only saw it at 8:36 today because I was off of social media for a bit today. But I will we will talk more about that, Mr. Franklin, um, on Sunday.
Yes.
Everybody, enjoy your day, enjoy tomorrow, enjoy your weekend. Diana Seeley, Alvin Brown, Easy D, Tyra Nurse, Adrian, everybody who was on, Tammy Holder, Adrian Hines, everybody, Theory Gittins, Thelma Yearwood, Zare Campbell, as many of you as I can call as we're going on. Dewdrop Warren. Oh my Lord, there's so many. Behoy, forgive me if I don't call your name, but without you, there is no show. And we thank you for your input, the comments that you have there. And thank you all so very much. We truly, truly love you guys, and we don't know you, but we connected, man. We connected, and we are going to do great things together. And thanks to Lumumba and the Apostle for coming on, and also for a friend in Trinidad, Umar Abdullah, the Jamaican person, did not make it on, but probably on Sunday. God bless you all, and good night. Thank you, Kimar. Thank you, Mr. Franklin. God
Yes.
bless you.
Good night, everybody. Good night.
Yes.
See you on
Good night.
Sunday.
Sunday. Bye bye.